Happy Friday and welcome back to the channel. It's been a long week and I just have to say, I see a red door and I want to paint it black. My prayer is to linger with you. Just touch my cheek before you leave me, baby. Mr. State Trooper, please don't stop me. I'm heading for a land that's far away beside the Crystal Fountain. So come with me, we'll go and see the Big Rock Candy Mountain. And right about now you're thinking, what is he on about and how many drinks is he already in? No, you don't have to catch up to me. Well, I mean, unless you want to. I'm just amazed by the soundtrack to the show that we're going to be talking about tonight. See, our guest bartender, Stephen Otten, deleted scenes to you, link in the description, said that he wanted to talk about a new show on Amazon Prime called Outer Range. And, well, we'll get into all of that, but the soundtrack is amazing. Maybe the Birdman should pick up the second half of this. Anyway, let's get into it. Boomer's keeping an eye on me, and Netter's keeping an eye on all of you. So top off your drinks and strap in, because it's going to be a wild ride. Here we go.
Quality is our legacy. Handcrafted, barrel-aged. Go ahead, you deserve it. Glenn Gooley, for the best of times.
Welcome. How's everyone doing tonight? Yeah. Let's just get everyone here into the studio so we can start getting into it. How you doing tonight, Agent Boomer?
Doing good. Got a bit of an allergy going on, but I'll muddle through.
So whatever you're sipping on involves some muddling. Is that the case?
I just have a Coke. I thought about getting an iced tea because that's what our lead character on tonight's show wanted when he got the clam juice.
Yeah, that was not what I was going to choose for myself tonight. That just, even Netter was like, oh, come on, man, that's a waste of good tomatoes. You know, it's disgusting. It is disgusting. No, I would have figured if you were having an allergy thing, maybe you'd have gone for a little bit more of an adult beverage to, kind of dry out those mucous membranes.
I didn't think about that. Well, we'll see. The night is young, right?
Yeah, that's true. It is. I do call it last call, but it's still kind of early for a last call, isn't it? And real quick, let's get over to our semi-regular guest bartender, Stephen Otten, deleted scenes. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty well. Looking forward to talking about this mind bender of a TV show and realizing that we do not need alcohol. Watching the show will have that same effect.
Not sure if it wouldn't help or if I really, maybe on the rewatch a sip or two. But yeah, so a little peek behind the curtain to everybody. Had deleted scenes on last week. But it actually, this goes back 2 weeks when I kind of put out, hey, anyone that wants to come on in. And I don't remember who all was here, but I missed the direct message from Stephen Otten until after the stream. I'm like, dude, man, I'm sorry I missed you. I said, how about we get you on next week? So he was in next week, but instead of talking about a topic he wanted to talk about, I really wanted to hit the, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing because I've really been steeped in it, and but that's okay. I got that out of my system. I said, now, if you want to come back, let's talk about this show that you told me about. And to be honest with you, as of last week, I hadn't seen it yet. Netter and I watched it this week, and oh my goodness, it was just one after the other, because it was like, and at the end, Netter's like, is there any more? Is that the end of the season? I'm like, no, there's more. It's just we don't get them until Friday. So we're actually 2 episodes behind what's dropped. But I think we've all seen the first 4 episodes. That's pretty much what we're going to talk about. Stephen Otten, deleted scenes. Link in the description, by the way. Please hit the subscribe and notification bell for his channel. He's starting to do a lot of stuff over there. Stephen, what you sipping on?
Oh, I have some iced tea.
He's got the iced tea. There you go. Nice,
we
nice.
will be staying. We will be staying away from the Clamato.
I bet
Good,
that's
good.
a darn tasty drink, and you guys are missing out.
I would say, unless you're making some sort of a weird Bloody Mary, I'm not having that either. A little Glenn Gooley tonight. So, you know. Glenn Gooley, Glenn Ross.
Oh,
we're gonna have
wow.
to do a rewatch of Glenn Gary, get Glenn Ross.
Oh,
right.
We're all going to be trying to talk at once during that. I have my own thoughts on that movie, especially that Alec Baldwin scene.
It's a Mammoth play, right? That they turned into a movie.
David Mamet, yeah. Yeah, and I haven't seen the play, but I have listened to a dramatic. Apparently, Richard Roma was played by Joe Mantegna in the actual original play version. But,
that's what I'd heard too.
Gino played him.
So real quick, let me say hi to the chat. Matt Anui, first one there. So good to see you, man. He comes in, says hi, and then Deleted Scenes is waving because I think he was getting nervous, thinking I wasn't going to send him the link, and of course I was going to send him the link. I was going to email it to you if I had to, because it looked like you were having some Twitter problems today. And then a very special welcome to I think a new face in the chat, Jace Fox. Good to see you, my friend. You come highly recommended. It's, you know, I said, hey, who's this new guy? And Steven's like, no, he's good people. I'm like, okay, he can come in. He's fine. And Big Al presents. He's okay too. No, kidding. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. He says, have a great stream as always. Thank you so much. And of course, my lovely bouncer and blue wrench, netter of Netters Network. I love you too, sweetie. And she's saying, giving the hi sweeties to everyone. And then we have Claude Sailing. Hi all. Good to see you, my friend. I'm getting there. I'm reading through them. David Pensek. Good to see you, my friend. And Daniel Heron. I hope you're still here with us. Did you hear me give you a shout out during the monologue? The soundtrack for this is pretty intense. Definitely worth a listen. If you haven't seen this show, maybe check it out. And maybe after the show's finished, if you have seen it, maybe let's do a Wednesday show on it. That'd be kind of fun. Let's see here. Deleted scenes, all y'all. And I think I'm all caught up. Okay. So, highlight me if you want to say hi so that I don't miss you, because we got a lot to focus on tonight. Okay. So
what are we talking about?
I was going to say, Steven, your suggestion, you're the one that brought it up. Let's go back, because you were the first of all of us to have seen this show and say, hey, I kind of like this. I want to talk about it. So how did you first become aware of this show? Why did you decide to watch it? And go.
In the beginning, there were the heavens and the earth. Oh, you want me to fast forward? Okay. Well,
starting to sound like the show now.
Yeah, right. Okay. So wait, before you get into it, I do want to say, when he recommended it to me, he did say it was a show that kind of had a cool Twin Peaks vibe to it. And sure enough, there was some points where I was picturing, the little man from another place. Is this the future? Is this the past? It was a little woo. But anyway, yeah, Steven, go ahead.
Yes. And will we ever answer the question of, is that gum we like ever going to come back into style?
As a matter of fact, I think second season, Leland Palmer did say, hey, that gum I like has come back in style, So yeah. I think that was the intent.
Well, how did I first hear about Outer Range? Well, I started hearing rumblings that there was going to be a new kind of science fiction Western hybrid. And my first thought immediately went to Briscoe County Jr.
Oh, I remember Briscoe County Jr.
The Bruce Campbell series that was on Fox back in the day. And then I'm here.
It's not like that, though, is it?
It is not like that at all. No.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Princess reminded me of the German series Dark.
Yeah.
I never saw Dark, but from what I understand, there are some similar vibes. So I'm definitely looking forward to catching Dark now. Well, anyway, like I said, I was hearing rumblings of this kind of science fiction Western hybrid, and then I started hearing some of the cast, like Josh
Yeah.
Brolin and Lily Taylor is in this thing, and so I thought, okay, well, having I figured, oh, this is going to be something that's going to be later in the year. No, this is out now.
Yeah.
So I went, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll give this a look. And man,
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean,
really
that's the thing
surprised
too.
the hell out of
When you said, well, it's on Amazon. You know what? I have Amazon Plus, and I really only have it because I do the whole order stuff on Amazon thing. What do they call that? The
right.
Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And
And-
I normally don't even bother watching anything that's on, but you know, you mentioned it, I'm like, oh, well, I got that. I might as well watch it, right? Wow. Let me tell you,
Because
my head is still spinning here.
Yeah, Amazon can be a real mixed bag
Yes.
because it's either something that you can really love, you can hate it, or and they have programming that goes kind of into the woke too,
Mm-hmm.
but it's easy to avoid because there's a lot there. I think there's something there for everyone.
Yeah.
You can always find something. You
Separate
can
the
find
wheat
some,
from. You can separate the wheat
can.
from the chaff.
you know,
Right.
you can find movies from that Charles Bronson lookalike guy, or you can go back and you can watch Stripe. There's
Right.
something.
I
can
know what you're
always go
talking.
through there and find something. And
Robert
really,
Bronzy, yeah.
Robert
Sorry.
Bronzy, yeah.
Yes.
You guys.
He's got some movie out now where he plays like a gun-toting exorcist. Like, okay.
Oh, really?
Like,
I need a hunt
Yeah.
for that now. Okay, thank you. Okay.
So yeah. So I thought exactly the same thing. First thing I did was I looked. What's the first thing you see is that poster, right? The one that was in the thumbnail, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't tell me anything. So I watched a trailer. The trailer didn't tell me anything, but you're right. I saw Josh Brolin. I saw Lily Taylor. Who I thought I saw was Amanda Seyfried, but it wasn't her. It was Imogen Poots.
No,
and I'm looking at her going, have I seen her in anything else? And I looked her up and I'm like, okay, she isn't in anything I've ever seen. It's just she looks like Amanda Seyfried. So
yeah, she was in 20 Weeks Later and Centurion. And
is she a British actress?
She's British. Yeah.
Okay, you wouldn't know that from this.
No, not at all.
But and Lily Taylor, I'll tell you, I know she's been in a lot of things too, but my head immediately goes to Four Rooms, and we did a rewatch of Four Rooms here, and she plays this like hippie witch, very different character she's playing on this one. I'm like, this is pretty interesting, but you come into the I don't mean to jump ahead. We'll back up and kind of talk it through, but you do kind of feel like you're coming into the middle of a story, right? They don't spoon feed you on introducing you to the characters. They just start talking like you are a fly on the wall and you've got to piece all this stuff together. And literally it took like the whole first episode for Netter and I, and we still didn't know the names of the characters. And we're going, the father guy, the granddaughter, the one that's missing, that kind of stuff.
And I wanted to smack the granddaughter. It's like, you want a freaking glass of water? Go get a freaking glass of water.
So let's talk a little bit about the granddaughter, right? Amy Abbott is the character's name. She's played by an actress. I'm assuming this is her first role, Olive Abercrombie. Man, is she a creepy looking girl. I'm sorry. I'm sure she's very nice in real life, but oh my gosh, is she creepy looking. I mean,
Annoying.
and then, yeah, she is. Go ahead, Stephen.
She has that young Dakota Fanning thing.
Kinda,
going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she's got these eyes that look too old for the rest of her, and it's just kind of
Yeah.
creepy.
I think everyone on the show looks off, though. Except for maybe Josh Brolin, who looks like Josh Brolin, you know.
So
What?
at one point
Yeah.
in the show, okay, we're gonna get into more or less detailish kind of stuff, but at one point he's having some problems with his neighbors, and his family's having problems with the neighbors, and you know, it's just like, you know, just shoot those MFers already, right? You know, I said, come on, you're Thanos, you can just snap and they'll be gone. Little did I know, that's kind of the whole point of the show. Holy crap, there's some wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, oh my gosh kind of stuff going on. As an aside, if you haven't seen the show, you have no, I'm just babbling just like I did in the opening.
Yeah.
But when I used to play, well, I do play D&D, but when I was younger, I remember doing when we played Dungeons and Dragons, we were doing the second edition rules, and they had a spell class called the Chronomancer, and you could, as you got higher and higher in power, you got powers more and more like a Time Lord, you know. And there were abilities where you could like pause time so that you could do some things and set things up in a combat and then start time again, and you'd have like 5 fireballs going off at one time or some craziness like that, right? But and that was like some pretty powerful stuff. And you know, as the dungeon master, I look and I go, nope, I don't see, I can't say anything against it. You're doing it right. Well, one of the things that you could do is you can open up a time portal and you can push one of the enemies through it. They disappear. Now they're going to pop out several rounds later, but by then you could have cleared the board, and then he comes back and then everyone just piles on this guy. I was watching this thinking, yeah, this is kind of like that, you know? So anyway, you know, I did say spoilers were possible. We're going to get into spoilers, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't really see any way to talk about this without spoilers.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I mean, I think the big spoilers happen in the first episode anyway, which is the untimely death of a certain character, or maybe not so untimely. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay. So,
Well, the show starts out. We introduce the family. There already stuff has happened. For instance, there are already some mysteries. For instance, the guy's wife who disappeared. Is he the son-in-law or the son?
he's the son.
Son.
The,
Okay.
The woman that his wife is the daughter-in-law.
Okay. Right. Okay. So she had
believe her name
vanished
is
9 months
Rebecca?
earlier. Yeah, and the sheriff, the acting sheriff, at least comes by. And she tells them, you know, hey, I'm sorry, the FBI want to drop it already. They're saying they're getting really upset because they're like, they should still keep searching for her.
Right,
So
right.
that happens, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, really basic, normal type of story. Very, I don't know, like, you know, drama, soap opera type of story. You know, wife goes missing. You know, what happened to her? Did she run off? Was she kidnapped? You know, that kind of a thing. And well, I'm 4 episodes into it and it's not resolved. But later on, some weird stuff started happening, and you start going, well, maybe that's what happened to her. Maybe, you know, I don't know. But anyway, I don't even know how to start unwrapping this, guys. Help me out here. It's
Okay, what's the first... Oh,
that's
sorry, go
the
ahead.
4th episode. That's not the first episode.
What's the first weird thing that happens, do you think? Do you think it's when Josh Brolin comes back to the house and says he has to feed the horse and says, we're going to church. You're not going to have time. And he's like, it's only 9 a.m. And they're like, no, it's noon. Or they give him some
he loses
time.
about 2 hours there.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he looks at his watch and he's like, yeah, he really did lose some time. My first thought, honestly, again, not at all being clear what was going on here. I thought this might be a story about a guy who he's got early onset dementia. That was my first thought. Actually, from a certain point of view, that could be the actual story here, but maybe not. We'll see.
Well, that theory is very much out there, especially in the first couple of episodes, until you get to the ending of episode 2, which we're going to discuss later on. But up to that point, you could very easily explain everything by saying everything's all going on in his head. Anything that appears supernatural could just be going on in his head because it just seems to be happening to him.
Yeah.
Without anybody else noticing.
But I'll be honest with you, now that you say that, and I think through what you're saying, I realize that the ramifications of some of the things he does are pretty impossible if it's just him doing it. So yeah, probably not. Want to welcome Magitech Mags. I just call her Mags. Mags has been hanging out with me all week on social media, following the Johnny Depp case. She's liking and sharing and laughing at my hot takes on things that happened throughout the week. And it's been a lot of fun. You're super encouraging, Mags. Thanks so much for being here. And everybody, I'm guessing I'm only seeing 6 people watching. And I see 9 thumbs up. So I'm guessing everyone that's here has already hit the thumbs up button. But, if you haven't, before you leave, I'd appreciate it if you did, because, it encourages me when you do that. So anyway, yeah. So we basically have a pretty down to earth kind of guy. Apparently owns a ranch. You find out later on it's actually his wife's property. It's been in her family for over 100 years, right?
Yeah.
For some time. And he's trying to be a good steward of it. Very old fashioned. And but his sons have a very different impression of how he ought to be doing things on this property. Because he's old fashioned, he's kind of fallen behind. They could be doing so much more with the property. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Stephen, what's that show that Paulie was watching? It was kind of like that with the vineyard.
Yeah, Promised Land.
Promised Land, right. It's kind of like that in a way. And except Promised Land is not this weird. It fully embraces the soap opera thing. This is soap opera with I don't know, a bit of a primer vibe maybe, or I don't know, something like that. But anyway, so yeah. And we know we find out a little bit about the back history, right? We find out that I don't want to keep calling him Josh Brolin. His character's name is Royal Abbott.
Royal Abbott. The Abbotts. They're the main family.
They are the Abbotts. And I guess we should also point out, because it's a cattle farm, or cattle ranch, or whatever you want to call it. They've got a brand, right, for the cows, and because Abbott is their last name, it's in the shape of an A, and I guess that brand ends up becoming a symbol that's important a little bit later on.
Who names their kid Royal?
Somebody with the last name of Abbott, I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
Should we maybe explain his little origin on the ranch? They say he showed up there when he was 10. Yeah, or you want to wait?
Yeah, I was kind of getting to that.
Okay.
Because yes, you're right. He shows up. No, go ahead.
Well, when he was 10 years old, he showed up and had no memory of who he was, right? And I guess the family sort of adopted him, or at least gave him a place to stay, right? The Abbott family, and then he eventually marries the daughter, which
exactly.
is yeah. So okay.
Yeah, I know it seems a little weird, but when you think about it, if there's any kind of inspiration from Shakespeare, it kind of works, kind of makes sense.
Well, it's not like they were. It's it's like the boy. It's like the boy next door. That's how I look at it. Not like it's exactly. The whole brother thing. Or whatever,
the problem is that if you do spend enough time growing up with somebody, you start to have that, kind of feeling about them that they are like siblings. So it gets kind of icky. I mean, I'm
Hey,
surprised we haven't seen more stories where the opposite is true, where siblings are, split up and
if
then they
it
come
worked
back
on The
together and they
Flash
don't have
with
that.
where he grew up with Iris in the same house, right? Which was weird. I'm just sorry.
Yeah, which is not the way it was in the comics, and screw all that. I don't care about this CW bullshit.
Okay, anyway.
No, I was thinking more like Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. They didn't grow up together, so he sees her and he's like, "Hey there, hi there," and she gives him a big wet kiss, during the Echo Base scene. So
Yeah.
But
Okay.
have you? Complete side note. Maybe it's because the Glenn Gooley's starting to hit me, but there's that meme that was going around during the first season of Game of Thrones where Princess Leia says, "Wait a minute, I kissed my brother," and Cersei responds, "Oh, that's cute." Anyway, we're going down a major rabbit hole, and there's another hole we should be looking at.
The show is full of rabbit holes.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, we should get back to that. So what it comes down to is he's got a strange origin story. We don't know what happened to him 8 years prior. We don't know what happened to him prior to that. And he goes out to do his work for the day, and this Amanda Seyfried looking gal comes onto the property, and she's like, "Hey, are you Royal Abbott?" "Yeah, I'm Royal Abbott." "Why? Who's asking?" She's this weird hippie chick, and she's really just looking for a place to camp. And he's like,
I was thinking it's Cheryl Strait hiking the Pacific Crest Trail.
Which would have been fine. I'm looking for a place to stay for the night. No, she's looking for a place to stay indefinitely because there's something about this property that's important to her. She's got a lot of backstory that we haven't gotten yet. I don't know, but there does seem she seems to know Royal Abbott somehow. She knows things about the property that she shouldn't. She's not near as surprised about some of the things as she should be. And when she talks about her backstory, it's kind of similar to Royal Abbott's, right? Where she didn't remember past a certain point until she got there. And up to the age of 9, right? And then after, she somehow remembers something after she came onto this property, and it had to do with this symbol, which, looks like Pac-Man or whatever, but it also happens to look like the brand of the Abbott Ranch. And she also sees it carved into the side of a mountain or rock formation or whatever that's on the property. So he tells her, "Go ahead, you can." Oh, yeah. She says she can pay for, the right to squat for a while on his property. And she hands him cash. And he says, "Yeah, okay." Out to the west acreage, right? Down by the river. And so and I did like the line where his son says to him, "Who has that kind of cash on them?" And he's like, "She does." It's like, I don't know, don't care. She did.
Did you get the impression? Did she say something? Is she like from a trust fund? Is she like a trust fund kid? She's from a wealthy family.
They kind of give you that idea.
Yeah.
No. 4th episode, I got the impression that she might have been card hustling.
That too.
Oh,
but you're right. We don't know anything about her history. She could be a trust fund baby. We never know.
She's nuts is what she is. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
yeah,
to say
you're
that.
right. She is nuck and futz.
I don't trust her at all.
And she's a little she's got a little bit of impulse control problem.
Yeah.
A little Amber Heard-ish maybe. We don't know. But yeah. So one thing that stood out in my mind, and guys, I know both of you are kind of like movie buffs like I am, so you may have picked up on this. But there was this little thing that kind of nagged me, and I was wondering if it was intentional. There's one point where, okay, you had already mentioned he went out to check on the cattle, and then he comes back and he's lost 2 hours. But not only has he lost 2 hours, he lost like 2 or 3 head of cattle.
Yes.
Right? I don't remember the exact number.
And he gained a bison.
And he gained a bison. We'll get to the bison. Somebody in the chat mentioned the bison too. We'll get to that. But he gets his boys together and goes, we gotta go off and search for this for the missing, head of cattle, because that's their livelihood, right? Any one head of cattle is a financial hit.
Yeah.
But he says to the one boy, he says, you go north, you go south, and I'll take the west. Now, in context, later on, looking back on it, well, of course he took west because we need him to take west because he needs to find the hole in the ground. Did anyone else get a Capricorn 1 vibe there?
What do you mean?
Well, Capricorn 1, yeah, because his father was the star of that movie.
Bingo! And that was the direction that James Brolin went. He said, "You go," and he went west.
Is that about the fake moon landing or something?
Landing,
and OJ was in it. I remember. Yeah, okay. I haven't seen it in ages, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'll be honest with you. The first thing I thought is, and this is just showing me getting old, because I've done the same thing with Michael Douglas and Kirk Douglas. I was like, oh, that's right, because he was in Capricorn. What? No, wait a minute. No, he wasn't. That was his father.
No,
still it works.
Well, I mean, I was looking at this the other day. 20 years ago, this would have been his dad starring in this show.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Man, oh man. Yeah, okay. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one that kind of got a vibe there. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I just caught it and I was like, I didn't even bring it up to Netter because I was like, I'm going to sound crazy. But, after you've had a half a glass of Glen Gooley, you don't care how crazy you sound anymore. So anyway, so go ahead, Steven, take us through the rest of it. We are not even through the first episode, and we're a half hour into this craziness.
It's a long episode.
It is.
It's almost an hour, I think. Yeah,
it is. And okay, we start off the show with a little bit of the supernatural. He goes out. He goes out to look for this missing cattle. Instead, he finds this hole in the ground that appears to mess with time in some fashion that we don't know yet.
I mean, it's literally a hole in the ground.
A hole in the ground.
It's a perfect circle. I don't know, what would you say, about 40 feet wide, maybe?
Thereabouts. Yeah.
It's pretty damn big.
It is.
So as soon as and look, supernatural, crazy weirdness aside, you see a big hole like this out in your pasture. First thing you think is, well, I had 2 or 3 head of cattle missing. They fell into the damn hole. That's the first thing I think, right?
No.
Right. Because
go ahead. Yeah.
Right. Because he goes out to look for the cattle. He never finds the cattle.
Right.
At any point, I don't believe that he ever found it. Or if it got explained, I missed it. But
you know what? Pause right there. Okay. I think there's something that happens later on that implies to me that they fell into the hole. Here's why. Because later on, he's moving his cattle. One of the it wasn't we don't know. It might have been a bull. It was a calf. A calf goes running off, and it's literally running towards the hole. And he lassos it and catches it before it goes into the hole. So I'm looking at this going, that seems to imply that it's not out of the ordinary or impossible for these cows to just wander off into a hole for stupid cow reasons. I don't think a horse would do that. That's all I'm saying.
It is possible that something could have attracted them to the hole for whatever reason, because that one calf did run practically straight towards it. It leads me to think that maybe something.
No, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say all they're saying is that cows are dumb. Cows are dumb. People are a little bit smarter, and horses are smarter still. Yes, I did say horses are smarter than humans. That's a scientific fact. My channel, I say so. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stephen. Yeah. So we discover this hole in the ground. And what's the first thing you do when you see a big hole in the ground?
Well, he chucks a rock into it, and of course, he never hears the rock land.
Right.
At all. And then he tries to fill it back in with dirt, and that doesn't
which seems ridiculous because it's such a big hole. It's like,
and then throws in a shovel like an idiot.
Well, and that's the other thing too. I mean, and this is just from somebody who's done some gardening and whatnot, right? When you dig a hole, you end up with a big mound of earth, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Netter is being a good bouncer and keeping an eye on the pub for me. Adega, good to see you, my friend. Netter, will you please drop the link for Adega's? In fact, can you take the time and drop all those links for all the peoples, the Adega and the Birdman and Al Presents and all those guys? They're all good people and they got channels and I want them. Of course, if you got a blue wrench and you're not dropping your own link, what are you doing, man? That's why you got the blue wrench. I mean, come on. You know, if you don't promote yourself, put all the work on us, really? Come on, man. Help us out.
I have an excuse. I'm on the air.
Well, you have an excuse. You're literally in the description. That link is perma there, you know?
Oh.
So anyway, and one thing I don't think either of us mentioned is not only does he throw the stone in and doesn't hear anything, but it gets less than 10 feet and you can't see it. It's like there's a darkness there and like a smoke kind of right on the surface there. You know, something weird's going on there. Even light's not penetrating the way it should, you know? But yeah, when I dig a hole, you know, I got a hole in the ground and then I got a bunch of dirt piled up that came out of that hole. That dirt ain't anywhere, right? So he's literally digging another hole to fill in this one. And I think at some point he realizes how dumb that is.
You got to try everything once, right?
Okay, I'll give you that. He had to try it. It didn't work. So he throws away his spade for some reason. I don't know why. That kind of bothered Netter too. I don't blame her. It was a perfectly good shovel, and he just throws it in the hole for reasons. But I don't know. Personally, I would put a fence around it, and that's where I'd throw my garbage. I mean, that's what I would do if it was my land, right? And that's not all of episode 1 because we also got to introduce the antagonists, right? He's got neighbors.
Wait! You missed over something.
What I missed?
He does reach his hand into the hole.
That's
does he
right.
Not?
That's right. Because you got a hole in the ground that
with weird black mist and stuff,
with
right?
Weird black mist that you can't go more than a foot or two down and see. So you're gonna just stick your hand in, right? Like you stick your hand in a hole, okay? In movies, you stick your hand in a hole and you can't see what ends up happening. It gets fucking cut off. That's what happens, right? But that's not what happens. Stephen, what happens to his hand when he sticks his hand in the hole?
Well, what happens to his hand when he sticks it in a hole is he gets some sort of black substance on his hand that moves around very much like Rorschach's mask from Watchmen. And when that happens, he gets visions of both the past and, more importantly, the future. and that's where the whole time travel element starts to come into play, because he's having visions of things that either have happened or could happen.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and that's and that is where the main mystery of the show starts to kick in. Who or what is responsible for this whole? Uh, why are things happening out of sequence when people come in contact with this whole? Because there are three people that we know who have come in direct contact with the whole, and they're all having these visions of the future, so to speak, for the lack of a better terminology. Royal, Autumn, Gene Poots' character, and also Wayne Tillerson, who's Will Patton's character, who's the rival rancher. And they've all come in contact with this whole. And whereas Royal doesn't seem to remember anything, Autumn is starting to remember, and with Tillerson, there's what I call an amnesia. There's an amnesia to him. It's almost like there's a hole in his, as Royal says in the scene in the first episode, there is a void.
Yeah.
And he's not just meaning the whole. He's talking about there's a void in their lives.
Yep.
There's something that everybody can't, and by, well, not everybody, but in particular Royal, Autumn, and Tillerson. There's something in their past that they can't quite put their finger on. There's something that they're not being allowed to remember for whatever reason. And Royal is just go on with your life. Autumn is I want to remember, and whatever is going on with Tillerson is driving him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like we're seeing three different, I don't want to say three different levels, but three different aspects of how this craziness can affect you. I feel like we got Royal, who is the most rational to the point where he can't even assimilate what's going on with him, right? We've got Autumn, the hippie, right, who is open to it, takes it as it comes, doesn't mess her up badly, but she's a seeker, right? She's kind of the neutral ground, right? And then you got Wayne, who's batshit friggin' insane. And he's like all the way loopedified from this, obsessed. And I think, as you know, the rich businessman villain type character, he wants to Lex Luthor this thing and get hold of it, so he has the power, right?
Well, we don't know what he wants from that land. It could be the hole in the ground, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, I think, right?
Basically, we kind of are. He wants mineral rights to that land. He wants something about that land. He wants, and why do we know
he owns it? Yeah, go ahead.
Right, because he claims he owns it. He has. We don't know the details.
We think he paid.
It is implied because we're seeing it from Royal's point of view that this neighbor has done something nefarious. He has greased some palms with the
county officials and whatnot.
And to redistrict the ground and say, there was something ambiguous in the original, plat of survey, but there's this miles worth of property that belongs to him. It's not yours. And let's face it, that don't sit well with anybody, magic hole in the ground or no, right? But and what happens is he sends his sons to we don't find this out right away, but we find out that he's got some health problems. He's bedridden, he's on a ventilator, so he sends his sons out to deliver the court notification or whatever, saying you got so much time to get off this land, or the the state will get involved and so on and so forth. The older son tries to be kind of at least professional about it. The younger son's a fucking asshole, but he's got a good singing voice. I will say that.
Yeah, you got these. You got this literal My Three Sons situation.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I didn't think about that.
You know, and so you have the older. I guess he's supposed to be the older son. He might be the middle one. Yeah, I'm not. We have the son Trevor, and Trevor is the peacemaker. You know, and then Luke's like the hothead, right? Yeah. Because Luke's, we're going to come back here and we're going to fuck you up and all this, and Trevor's like, no. Look, I don't like this any better than you do. And he even says it, hey, I don't know what my father wants at this land. I don't know why he waited until this particular moment,
right,
to go on this obsessive, I now have to have this West pasture. I don't get it. He won't tell me. He's not talking to me.
Right.
Let me go back and, you know, don't worry about it. I'll go back. I'll talk to my dad. He's really coming off the good guy in the whole situation. Like,
because or at least more pragmatic. Yeah.
I guess that's why I took him as the more mature. That's
and he and then you kind of there's a scene later that we'll get to that kind of makes you think, okay, maybe he's not. But at that point in the story, Trevor is playing peacemaker. You know, okay, we obviously we have this feud. It's not my idea. I don't know what I don't understand what's going on in my dad's head. Let me try and talk him down, basically, and then, you know, we'll come back and we'll settle this. Whereas, you know, you have the second brother, who's Luke, who's borderline psychopath. He's just ready to get in a fight at like the drop of a hat. And the thing that I find interesting in the casting of the show is the guy playing the hothead brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's usually the puss.
Yeah.
You know, he's usually the guy who he's usually the guy running away from the battle. You know, and in this one, he's just like, you know, I will kick in your door.
You're kind of foreshadowing some things, but there's some stuff that happens at a pub, and, you know, let's just say alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Yeah.
I want to say, though, I want to commend the casting on casting actors as siblings that actually do kind of look like each other.
Right. I even said that to Nanette as we were watching. I'm like, do they not look like they could actually be brothers?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So you got your basic. You find the point of view characters to be very endearing. They've had a little bit of tragedy recently. You know, the oldest boy, his wife has gone missing. He's now a single dad. It's a sad situation. The grandmother, you know, she's, you know, Lily Taylor, Josh Brolin's wife in the show. She's very religious. She's trying to keep the family together, keep everyone positive. God's got a plan, whatever. Josh Brolin, much more agnostic. I respect your beliefs, but I think, you know, God, he doesn't give a shit because he lets this kind of stuff happen. So I have a really hard time, you know, believing. And the boys are struggling, right? You've got the older brother who's lost his wife, doesn't know what he's going to do. And the younger brother who's trying to make something of himself, but he's trying to do it off the ranch. He's trying to get away from the ranch. He's taken up as he's gotten to, he's a rodeo guy, and he's actually pretty good at it. And he wants to get on the circuit and kind of get off the ranch. It's his mind. Hey, wouldn't it be great if Dad just sold this ranch? He could get millions for it, and we could. But that's so you kind of feel for this family. And then you see the richer family next door. The kids are assholes. The husband's a psycho. You find out, he really is. He's fucking nuts. And his wife, we don't see until much later. She's not in the picture, and she's kind of she's a bitch. She really is a bitch.
Yeah.
So
Probably started out as a trophy wife, and then maybe maybe I don't want to say she was taking substances, but she.
I was gonna say, I mean, if you know the actress and you've seen her before, she's an attractive woman, yeah. But she's gotten older, and I was actually surprised by how haggard she looked until I realized that's the role she's playing. They made her look like that, you know. But anyway, we are getting ahead of ourselves. So yeah, it's a bad circumstance, and I mean, should we fast forward this to the pub, because that's really where the
might as well.
Yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
Okay, so everybody the brothers from both families. They all wind up at the pub
after the rodeo.
Right.
After the rodeo, right? Yes. Where the rodeo rider brother has kind of an off night.
Yeah.
So he's kind of he chooses to self-medicate through alcohol. And everybody wants
cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
I remember they're going to regret having that tequila, aren't they? That's what they said. And
right. And we find out in this scene that he has sort of this. There's kind of like a woman in his past that he never quite got together with, but Maria, who he always sort of carried a torch for.
And what are older brothers there for? Pep talk.
Yeah.
Hey, go talk to her. Come on, man. If you don't talk to her, nothing will ever come of it. You're a good-looking guy. She's a good-looking girl. Go talk to her.
But of course, being who he is, he has that moment of hesitation, and he gets cock-blocked by Trevor.
And what does his brother do? Laughs at him, because of course he does. I don't know. That's not important to the story. It just bugged me in the moment, because I'm like, you got him all psyched up, and then you laugh at him when he gets shot down. You're an ass, man.
Anyway, long story short, the younger brother, who Bill Pullman's son, I keep forgetting his name in the show.
Lewis Pullman. He's playing a character named Rhett.
Rhett. So Rhett winds up.
I didn't actually realize that was Bill Pullman's son. That's a good catch.
Yeah.
Even knowing his name, I didn't realize it was him.
Yeah. He gets into a scuffle with Trevor.
Right, because first he pukes on when Trevor's making out with his date that night.
Right,
he pukes in front of them, and the girl's not in the mood.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty tacky. Look, you're trying to take a girl, home or whatever. You don't just stop out in front of the pub and start nailing her in front of against the wall. That's pretty. That's pretty.
He's a Tillerson.
Yeah, we're crying out loud. You want to take the girl home and show her your place and say, "This is mine, sweetheart." That's how you do it. I got silk sheets. You don't just, hey, come on, right here, right against the wall, baby.
That's another kind of odd thing about the show is when someone does decide to get busy, so to speak, they pick like the oddest time,
the worst place,
the worst place possible.
Let me tell you, it's the best thing about being married. It's like, you know what? We can go home. We got a bed. No problem. People say get a room. We got one. That's where we're going.
Okay, so then what is it? Trevor starts talking trash about the family, right? I think that's what happens.
People know we're married. Come on. She gave me a dirty look.
Okay.
Okay.
You miss
So yeah, the
Oh, okay. I thought I was in trouble.
Okay.
Go on. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Trevor starts trash talking. It comes to blows, and they both knock each other around pretty good. And Percy or Perry,
I'll
the
find
older
out. Hold
Perry,
on.
son,
Perry.
Perry.
who I keep wanting to call Percy for some reason. But
Right.
so
Where's Perry? Exactly. For
so
those of
Perry,
you out there that are Phineas and Ferb fans.
yeah. So Perry goes out and he breaks them up, and okay, we're leaving. Rat, go get the truck. And Trevor says something really freaking stupid,
Really out of line.
really seriously out of line, and which is kind of odd because up to that point, like I said, he's been the peacemaker.
True. But he's
now
been drinking, and he just got roughed up by the previous brother, and he's
right. So he gets his Tillerson on, and he
Great
starts
way to
talking.
put it, yeah.
He starts talking smack about the wife that's gone missing,
inferring that she chose to leave him.
Yeah,
which,
for all we know up to this point, could possibly have been what happened.
Could be, but you're a friggin' asshole for bringing it up.
Still true. Also, yes. So Perry hits him once.
Clocks him pretty damn good. Yeah.
And
that was a good punch.
That's all she wrote for Trevor. Trevor's pretty much gone there. Spoiler alert. And this is something that I also wanted to bring up. The actor who plays Trevor is a well-known actor. Matt Lauria. He's been in a number of television shows. He starred on Kingdom, the DirecTV series, the MMA show.
Oh, okay.
So he's a recognizable guy.
Sure.
In episode 1, he's gone already, which leads. So now no one is safe.
Nope.
Because they just took out a recognizable actor. Yeah. So either can show.
Well, maybe they'll give a spot on Reacher next season or something, right? To make up.
Maybe.
I do like Matanui's comment. Can shows and movies please stop showing vomit? Yeah, it does seem unnecessary.
There was a lot of vomit in episode 1.
Yeah, and you can show his head go below the camera line, and you can hear the bleh without showing it. It's not really that necessary.
Check out Problem Child 2, Matanui. That's all I'm gonna say.
or the Lord
Matanui. I'm guessing maybe you
stand by me.
Anyway, but yeah, and so what happens? All the rage, all the stress, everything that's been building up on him throughout this guy just set it off, right? And what does he do? He just pounds on him and pounds on him and pounds on him. And let me say, kudos to the sound engineer on this one, because literally you can hear the moment that his skull cracks. That crack when he finally he hits him enough times, hard enough that he's dead. He's just dead. Now we got a problem, right?
Because now we have to hide a body.
Yep. Do you want to hide a body? Yeah, exactly.
Well, first they don't know what to do. So they bring the body, they put it in the pickup, and then right back
truck,
to their ranch. Yeah.
And gotta love the brother, right? The younger brother is like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. You want to go to the police? We'll go to the police. Go to the hospital? We'll go to the hospital. It's like, go home. We'll talk to dad, right? You guys know where this is going, right? Because the guy's dead. He is D-E-D dead. Taking him to the hospital isn't going to help.
Okay.
Even though they have that moment in the truck as they're going back to the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want
Well,
me to take him to the hospital? Do you want to own up to this right now and we'll just take our chances? Or do you want to do what we're about to do? He has that. Rhett gives Perry that choice. We can own up to this. We can go to the hospital now, or we can go home.
Yep.
let's
go home.
let's think about the choices though. We're
Mhm.
thinking about normal circumstances, turns himself in, probably going to get manslaughter, right? Didn't intend to kill the guy, but he
One
did.
way or
So,
another, yeah. Whether
you're going to
they take him
jail,
to the
but
hospital or they go to the police, he's yeah. The
But
other
this is
thing,
the Tillersons, and
right? The
they're
other
not going to let this go with
right,
just
the
that.
Tillersons,
Yes.
they're going to make sure you get friggin' life on this. The other thing is they also made this point too. They're in a rural area. I believe this is set in Wyoming, right?
Yes.
So he said it's an hour to get to the hospital. They're going to be driving an hour to get to the hospital. So that does factor in here too.
Mhm.
By the time they get there, if he's not dead already, he's definitely dead. He's in rigor mortis by the time they get there. It's just that simple. But so what they do, they go home because Dad knows what to do, right? He's the smart guy. And the audience pretty much knows. You know what he's gonna do. You know what he's gonna do. He's gonna Thanos snap this guy away because he's got a secret weapon, right?
Right.
But it's not that simple because while he's trying to, go through, and he thinks it through, right? There was a book that I read once. It's called What Cops Know, I think is what it was called. And it was written by a police officer who basically said that everything you think you know about crime and punishment and so forth is kind of wrong and skewed by Hollywood. He said the reality is that police, it's not like in the TV shows where nothing else happens in the city except the one thing this story is about, and all the cops are focused on this one murder, right? The reality is, in most big cities, 25 people have been killed, right? Most of them are gang related. Couple of them might be domestic related, involving but there's not a lot of mystery there, right? If there's something more to it, they probably need to call in experts. But it's kind of like Batman says, right? That criminals are stupid, cowardly lot, right? They're going to screw up. You're going to find what they did. They're going to say something. They're going to brag to their girlfriends about the murders they committed at the Burger King. The girlfriend is going to publish it on social media. The cops show up and arrest them. That's what happens usually. But the ones that think it through, the ones that spend the time and go, okay, how can they trace this back to me? Well, I got to get rid of all the DNA evidence, and I got to make sure they never ever find the body, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and cover all the bases, right? The fact is, they usually get away with it. That's the case. It's when they do something stupid that gets them caught. Well, Josh Brolin does a pretty damn good job of thinking through everything. He thinks through, okay, give me your clothes. I'm going to clean out the truck. I'll take care of the body. Don't even ask me what I'm going to do with it. Shut up. Don't even ask. You don't need to know. The less you know, the better. That kind of stuff.
I know he tells the younger brother, he says, "You're already an accessory, so no, there's not going into anything.
Exactly.
It's not
That's
just
the
your
other
life
thing,
that's
too.
getting ruined."
I'll just turn myself in. No, you turn yourself in. You implicate your brother too.
And also the ranch, that could hurt the ranch too, and everything could go tits up basically. So yeah.
Exactly. So he really doesn't have a choice in the matter, right? He's going to take care of this thing. But as an audience, we know how he's going to get rid of that body, and you're thinking, okay, right? He decides to burn the clothes, which I suppose is as good, right? And especially in a rural environment, a fire outside might raise some suspicions, but no proof. Here's what it comes down to, people. Somebody goes missing, but you don't have a body. You don't have any DNA evidence. It's the habeas corpus, right? Hey, you can't convict me of murder. You can't even prove there was a murder. Produce the body. Habeas corpus, right? If you don't have a body, you don't have a murder. You don't have a murder, you can't charge me with murder. Everything looks like it's going to be going real well. Except what happens? It can't be that simple.
Yes. The Tillersons show up on the property.
The two surviving brothers show up and go, hey, where's my brother?
Why? Why do they automatically suspect them, though? I'm trying to remember why. Okay.
Because they were at the pub. They know that they saw them there, and, you know, the whole
But, you know, it could have just, maybe the guy went out with a girl or something. He left his truck there. Is that what happened? So, why are they suspicious that something happened to the brothers? Because the truck was left behind, so he didn't take the truck?
And they found his belt buckle with blood on it.
That's the thing that we left out when we were discussing that scene earlier. There is a clue that has been left behind, and that is Trevor's belt buckle with Rhett's blood on it.
Yep.
But how did his blood get on it? He was punching him in the mouth, not in the groin.
Well,
because story needs to happen. You know, that's, you know. I mean, that was actually, Netter brings up a really good point there, because I remember thinking through, okay, how do they explain that away, right? What is your plausible deniability, right? Yes, we were both there. Yes, we got into a fight. We were seen in a fight. We got into a fight. I split my knuckles, or I split my lip, whatever. I bled on him. It happened. You know, that doesn't mean I murdered him, right? But but then I realized, you know, what other reason? How did it really happen? That's the only explanation you do have. That's not proof of murder. That just puts you at the same location, which they end up having to confess because it was the case. We were there, you know, and we were seen together. So, you know, any defense attorney would say, well, they were in the same place and they got into a fight. That doesn't mean he was murdered. You don't have a body. You don't know he's dead, right?
Okay.
And the brother had a history of running off for a couple of days at a time.
That was the other thing. When the brothers tell their father he's missing, he has absolutely zero concern because it's happened before. You know, he's out dipping his wick somewhere. He'll be back in a couple days with a headache, you know. But that ain't the case. So while Josh Brolin's trying to get, you know, this shit taken care of, you know, with his younger son, his older son, you know, just trying to keep his shit together. But there's a knock at the door. Knock at the door. It's the two brothers. They want to come in. No, you're not coming in, right? And this is the scene that really pissed off Netter, and I gotta admit, bothered me too, right? This is where we start getting into the point of view of a parent, right? Because he's having an argument, a very tense situation with these two guys on the threshold, right? And Amy shows up. She wakes up and she comes down. Daddy, I need a drink of water.
So go freaking get a glass of water.
Yes. Any parent in that situation says, Amy, go get yourself a drink of water. Get to bed. Daddy, I need a drink of water. I am not telling you again, kid. Get up to your bedroom or you are in serious trouble. But he doesn't do that because this is the, you know, 21st century where we got to be nice to the kids and we got to put them in timeouts and we got to not raise our voices, you know, so just do what daddy says. Go.
I imagine like in the past, every time she's tried to get a glass of water on her own, she keeps dropping the glass on the ground and like happened repeatedly or something.
There's going off on a little tangent here again. There's a YouTuber we follow that's doing a playthrough of a game set during the Black Plague. And it's an older sister having to deal with a younger brother who is he's a pain in the fucking ass. And look, when you're in life and death situations, you better fucking listen. Okay? It's like, look, mom's dead, dad's dead. You're gonna get fucking dead if you don't do exactly as I tell you to. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And he runs off. And she's got to run after him. And it's like, you know what? Fine. Fucking die. I'm going this way. You know, anyway.
It's so cold.
It's like that kid in The Walking Dead who all he has to do is just shut up, and then he says, "Mom, Mom." You're just like, the kid winds up getting his whole family munched.
Wait a minute, though, but that part of that was what's her name putting the fear in him. Oh, well, I'll tie you up and things will eat you. What's her name?
Yeah.
With the
but you know,
hair, anyway.
I'm sorry, guys. That it kind of comes out when it's a baby, it's tragic, right? You think about the last episode of MASH, right? That's tragic. That is tragic. Okay. But when you're old enough to know better, fuck you, kid. Either obey or die. That's the circumstance we're in. If you're old enough to understand English, you're old enough to understand consequences. We're not just talking, I beat the shit out of you. We're talking, your life ends here.
Okay. Can I play devil's advocate for the little girl? Granted, she's not reading the room, as you like to point out, but she's still a kid, and maybe she doesn't understand how intense the situation is or something, right?
Doesn't matter. He should have made it clear.
Yes.
Yes. Daddy, and that's true. Daddy never said, go to bed. I'll tell you, any child that age, your father talks to you that way, you wet yourself, and then you go to bed.
This is how I read that situation. If he had started yelling at her, they were like, wow, you're sounding rather intense there. Everything all right? You know, like maybe he was trying to sound calm and like nothing's out of the ordinary. That's why he didn't yell at her.
Though?
You know, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
I get you, but given the setting too, it's Wyoming, right? This is my home. You do not cross this threshold. I have not invited you in.
True enough.
If you do, I have the right to fucking kill you.
That's true.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, in Wyoming, just being on the porch is enough.
I think they ran through the fence, didn't they? Did they drive through the fence or they broke through it?
Yeah. Yeah, then they were way out of line. They were definitely in the I have a right to defend my property kind of situation. You know. Now, knowing what we do as an audience, they kind of had every right, you know, but from a completely unbiased third party, no, you don't. This is their property. You don't belong here. You haven't been invited in. You need to leave. You can make a phone call or you can go to the police, you know, but that's not how these people tend to work. So what do? They decide they own the place and they want to see inside the barn. They want to see, you know, whatever. And then they go chasing after Royal. They chase after Royal. So long story short, it ends up becoming not as simple as Royal just goes and dumps the body. There's a time factor. He's being chased by these kids. These kids are trying to get caught up to him. He has to go. He's on his horse trying to take the body to the hole. The horse rears up. The body falls off. He's got to get off and get the body. He's carrying the body because the horse runs off. He's got to crawl underneath, or he's got to crawl through a barbed wire fence. His shirt gets caught. He tears up his back, so he's got to leave his shirt behind, giving us a nice, you know, topless shot of Josh Brolin as he's carrying the body to the right, you know, and just as he's getting ready he gets the body thrown in, but then someone shows up with a light in his face, right? Yeah, of course, it's Autumn, right?
And of course, Autumn is there.
first thought was it was the boys, right? Because they've already crashed through a fence and all this kind of shit, and they have lights on their truck. No, it's Autumn. And she does the whole, I know what you did, and I saw it all, and, you know, I'm not going to say anything. And then what does she do? This is Wyoming! And she pushes him into the hole for no apparent reason.
Yeah, because she's crackers.
She's knucking fucks. And Netter and I are both like, holy fuck! And Netter, I swear, these were her exact words. She just killed off the main character. How do they continue with the next episode?
Because this is part of what I was saying earlier, is we already have a recognizable actor who's dead. He gets killed like he's an extra.
Yeah.
Oh, we want to make a point that before all that happened, Mr. What's his name? Abbott. He threw the body of Trevor into the hole, right?
Yeah.
So to make the body just disappear into thin air, right?
Correct.
Oh, Max says, okay, I'm here 100% listening and participating. Oh, that's fine, Max. I know you try to make the rounds on Friday. I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot of people that can't catch me on Friday that come by and encourage me with a comment the next day or whatever. That's fine. But yes, that's Netter's Network in the background. She's here. She's my blue wrench, but you know, she also is coming through my mic because she watched it with me, and it was a wackadoo show.
Literally sitting 5 feet apart.
Yeah, literally 5 feet apart. But so so that's how the episode ends. That's the first episode. Damn it, we took as long to tell the story of the first episode as if they'd have watched the damn first episode. We kind of gotta get, you know.
Well, it's okay. I think the following episodes are a little easier to summarize, right?
You're right. The first episode lays all the groundwork, and that's really what we needed to do. And so I kind of feel like, tell me if you guys get the same impression, but I kind of felt like the second episode, you're expecting, Abbott's missing and gone, and now this is going to be certain. No, he comes home.
I also thought it was completely unnecessary for the sheriff to just, for no real reason, to state that she's gay. Somebody asked her something.
I totally missed that. I didn't even know that.
The rich other guys that want the West Pasture, one of them asked her something. She goes, something about, he said something about her being interim sheriff.
Oh.
And she's like, yeah, I bet you've never seen a lesbian one either, or something like that.
Oh, right. Okay. But see.
And then she does this kind of.
That was relevant, right? Because her position is an elected position.
And it's temporary because she wasn't actually elected. She had to step in when something happened with the prior sheriff.
The sheriff died.
Right. Okay. So she's got an excellent. She's playing the intersectional points, right? She's a woman. She's a Native American, and she's gay.
She's a lesbian. She's gay. Yeah, I think that was how she.
Gay to a guy who could not care less.
She was stating it to a guy who was making political points about her election. She was saying, I'm running on those intersectional points. These days, politically, that kind of stuff does matter, unfortunately.
Here's the thing. She's the character I have the most problem with. But it's not like... This is gonna sound a little weird, but stay with me. I'm going someplace with this.
Real quick, Mags, do we sound like munchkins or chipmunks because you're double timing it to get through what we were saying?
Okay.
Of course, now that I think about it, if that's what you're doing, you are in the past and we are in the future, and that's actually very appropriate to the show we're talking about here.
So quick, what are we gonna say next?
Right.
Yeah.
Can I just address one thing that are said though? Do I think that the show writers put that in there as a signal to the audience? Oh, that this is what this character is, probably, but at least they tried doing it in a way that felt relevant to the scene. So
Yeah.
I kind of see both your points. Yes.
I don't know if there was some sort of implication behind the scenes. You got to have a gay character. Okay, fine. We're going to make it relevant. Or
Yeah.
if they were actually doing this thing and going, she's a woman, she's a Native American. Let's throw in she's a lesbian too. Let's really make the point that, she's running on these intersectional points.
Yeah.
Either way, it really works and it does. But it was such a minor point. I didn't even think of it that Netter had actually pointed out to me. I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, I don't remember
Now-
if she said she was a lesbian or bisexual, but it was something.
Lesbian, I think. I think
Yeah.
it was lesbian. And maybe it's better that than us getting some long protracted storyline, but who knows what may happen later on. I don't know, but yeah.
Good point.
Here, like I said, here's where I have here's kind of my one issue with the show so far, is with that character. But what because it could be looked at as this is where the show goes woke. But here's where I say it's not the show going woke, because of the point you just brought up. It's relevant. She doesn't like walk around the town, gay, I am gay. No, she doesn't do that shit.
What does she not do again?
Oh, I'm going to get us yeeted for sure now.
Gay.
But
I like it. That's got to become a soundbite. I'm going to grab that later.
Okay, but I'm fine with that. But the point is she doesn't stop the show for like 10 minutes and go into a monologue saying that I'm being this oppressed.
Right.
Or does some historical thing that happened in the town, or I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Now I don't know. Now
we don't even have an indication she's in any kind of a relationship.
I don't think she is. She's a single mom, though, right?
There is some. There's a scene or two that kind of suggests maybe she might be in one. All right, now you could now the Black Pills could look at this character and say, okay, this is where the show goes woke. But here, and at first I thought, oh no, I was thinking that too. Oh no, why?
I could see that if it turned out that they made her into the hero character, but they haven't. She's a very flawed character.
No, she is extremely flawed. But there is something that is said, and I'm jumping ahead a few episodes now, where she recounts this sort of incident that's in her past.
Mm-hmm.
And where somebody with some ill intent tries to get her into a car.
Right.
And it's obvious that this person is going to do her in. Let's just leave it that way.
Yep.
And she makes the statement of, indigenous women in this country have to be careful because things like that happen. Now, again, could be taken as a woke statement. If you didn't know for a fact that there have been a number of unsolved murders and disappearances of indigenous or Native American women in this country and in Canada.
And the fact is, I didn't know that, but anybody who has a mother, a wife, daughter, sister knows, you know what? I don't care what's fair, the way it should be, whatever. Women need to be careful.
Yeah.
All women need to be careful. If there is a bigger rate of violence and crime against Native Americans, I didn't know that, but I didn't need to know that because she also happens to be a woman, and I happen to know women need to be careful.
That to me saved the character.
Yeah.
Because that's a character that went from, why are they trying to sort of half-ass wokeify this character, and then you go, oh no, they're not. They're trying to make a very serious point with this character. That they're trying to bring to light something that present day news media doesn't seem to care about.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
And
I
that's
agree.
that's the fact that this, these, you want to talk about oppression. These are people who at one time were very much being oppressed. Their land was taken, they get put into reservations, and then you have people being taken from these reservations and are either killed or they're never seen again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, I would argue that all women need to be careful of that. Although I got to be honest with you, men aren't exempt from it either. It's we got to deal with reality, right? It's not fair. It's not right. Blah, 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 blah. I should be able to wear what I want. I should be able to go where I want. I should be able to be alone or in a group or whatever. Yes, in a perfect world, you should. Guess what? It ain't a perfect world.
I should be able to talk shit about some guy's wife that left him and not expect to get beaten to death. I'm sorry. Well, maybe not. That's the point.
I don't know. See, that's the other thing. You also should be damn well aware of the possibility that could happen. This is all I'm saying. This is what I used to try to teach my stepkids. Look, there's the way things ought to be and there's the way things are. If you start dealing with life the way things are, you'll be much happier. Okay. Woman should be able to go out wearing whatever she wants. The reality is you might be sending signals. Okay. That's all I'm saying. That doesn't give anyone the right to do something to you. Doesn't mean you're asking for something to happen to you. I'm just saying it's not a great, you're not going to feel better later on saying, I was assaulted, but I dressed the way I wanted to. Just saying.
Now, I'll say this with the sheriff character, the acting sheriff character, I was initially sympathetic toward her. I'm liking her less as the show has gone on because I think that part of her wanting to solve this thing is about her winning the election, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think it's about also doing the right thing, maybe. But I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I really do feel like, again, we're kind of going out of order, but when when she makes a call that is the right thing to do, this is the law. I don't care what you say, and I don't care about the outcome of the election. I'm going to follow the law.
Right.
You get the impression, she's got a morality that you can't get around.
Right.
She goes to Royal, and she's like, "Can you take something from my desk?" It's like, when did he even have the opportunity to be in her office to go into her desk?
She knew he was there.
Yeah.
There's no proof of that.
No, she doesn't.
He did take the belt buckle.
No, she didn't. But she had no other option but to ask.
Yeah, she's like asking him, did he ask any of the other deputies, hey, do you happen to take a piece of evidence?
She did ask one of the other deputies.
Unsecured in my desk, out of my desk.
She did ask one of the other deputies. She knows what happened to it. But again, it's like I said 3 times during the show. There's what you know, and there's what you can prove.
But this is key evidence, and she has just dropped.
Yes, she fucked up, and she knows she fucked up.
She wasn't taking it. Well, she wasn't taking it seriously at first. She figured the guy just disappeared, went on a bender, or went out with a girl somewhere, right? She was thinking.
Yeah.
Most people did. It's true.
Yes.
Because look at her point of view. She's always running Rhett and Perry for whatever petty bullshit that they're doing. She's probably arrested all of the or I should say, probably put in the drunk tank, the Tillerson boys 20 times over.
How many times did the Abbotts get arrested? Probably.
Yeah. How many times have they gotten
Actually, we know at least once.
Episodes.
We know that the younger brother got pulled over for a DUI once.
Right. Yeah.
We know that happened.
And we kind of get the idea that maybe she was the one who pulled him over. So she's used to this, and she. Now the whole situation with the belt buckle, which I think is there because the plot has to happen. That was a little.
The plot.
That was dumb. That was. that was, you don't do that. There's a whole chain of custody thing involved, and he broke that chain.
So we do have the brother get picked up. Josh Brolin needs to show up to take his boys home. What does he do while he's there? He finds out about the belt buckle. He takes the belt buckle. That just happens. And of course, what's he going to do with the belt buckle? It's going in the hole too, right? Again, this hole that we don't really know what happened. Oh, actually, we do. By the end of the episode, we know what happens when you go into the hole, right? So we've had this whole episode where, wait a minute, I thought he got pushed into the hole and he disappeared.
Yeah.
But he woke up in the field and then he went home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what happens to him until we get kind of a flashback from his point of view.
Well, we know that he has a bullet in his leg, which he claims that Luke shot him, even though we didn't see that happen.
Right, and it was reasonable to think that that's something that could have happened the night before on their land.
Right, because he was running and they were chasing in the car. Maybe they were.
And I'm sitting there going, "Did I miss something?"
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But what we actually find out happened, and this is the scene that made me go completely bonkers over the show and start recommending it. Is this now? You know how. And we brought this up during the Mulholland Drive stream.
Yep.
That last sequence in the third episode of Twin Peaks, which is Cooper's dream sequence.
Yes.
We have something that sort of
30 years later, we're still analyzing and dissecting.
30 years later, we're still trying to dissect. And we have that Cooper's dream moment here. This is where the Taylor Sheridan style Western and the David Lynch film finally converge.
Right.
And we have this, and we find out what happened when Royal went into the hole. And that is, he somehow got transported at least 2 years, possibly more, into the future.
Yeah. He comes out of the hole basically in the same place, but the lands around the hole are a little bit different because now we have what look like
Military people.
We got military people, we got fences, we got checkpoints, we've got a bunch of we got a crowd of people. We have in the distance, we have chimneys belching smoke. We have oil rigs digging. They're digging for some sort of minerals or oil or something. We don't know what.
Wife no longer owns the land.
Wife no longer owns the land.
And Royal's been dead for 2 years.
And she tells him, "You've been dead for 2 years. Run." And that's when one of the boys shows up, pulls out a gun.
Luke shows up and shoots him in the leg. And they play Paint It Black, and he jumps back into the hole. And I'm going, this is the best TV show I've seen since Person of Interest went off the air.
And this is and no, he's absolutely right. This is where I realized, holy crap, this is a really good
Lynchian show.
well, not only that, I was going to say a great soundtrack, right? Because in the first
soundtrack
episode,
is fantastic.
We get things like The Devil Wears the Suit and Tie by Colder Wall. We got Avalanche by Leonard Cohen. Dark Road by Christopher, but then they kick it up in the second one. The second episode, just the incidental music, riding in the truck, right? Supertramp's Goodbye Stranger, which I tried singing karaoke tonight because I wanted to do a recording of it. Yeah, no, I need a whole lot more practice. That's a tough song to sing. And, My Prayer by the Platters kind of correlated with the wife's religiosity. Is like, yeah, And then, yes, at the very end, at the denouement, Paint It Black. I see a red door and I want to paint it black. It was, oh, geez. Here we go. Yeah. and he basically does what I would have done too. He dives back into the friggin' hole, you know.
Hey, what else you got to do, right?
Right? I mean, no, seriously, it's like
Okay. And this made me realize in our discussion tonight, when he dipped his hand in there, did he? Is that when he just had the missing time when he went back home? Was that
no.
okay? So that was later. Okay, never
Earlier,
mind.
he had lost some time. Okay. Late, he hadn't even gotten to the hole yet.
Okay, all right.
Later,
Never
when
mind
he
then.
dipped his hand in the hole, what did he have? He had a vision
Right.
of walking into the house, seeing his wife.
Joy's here.
Joy's here. Say hi to Joy, right? Then what happens after he gets back to the house? He walks in. His wife says, Joy's here. Say hi to Joy.
Mhm.
And Joy, of course, being the sheriff, telling him the FBI are going to,
Discontinue. Right.
the investigation. So he literally saw a little bit into his future. Now he has seen more than 2 years into his future by jumping into literally physically jumping into the future. He didn't just get a vision of it. He was there, right? So I don't know. I think I'd start experimenting with that whole, okay, if I put my hand in and I get to see like an hour in the future, what happens if I like stick my whole head in? Can I see like the lottery numbers for tomorrow? Something like that. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm trying to think what else happens in this episode. Rhett, I guess is this when we get introduced to perhaps a budding romance for Rhett there?
Yes,
Okay,
that's good because we get a little bit more into the history between him and Maria.
okay.
Right. He didn't have the guts to talk to her back in high school. She coyly says, well, yeah, it wouldn't have mattered, but you should have still talked to me, that kind of thing. But then that's when the questioning starts happening. The investigation is happening, and there's a little bit of intrigue between, and I thought this was handled very well, because this is very much the way police work is supposed to work, right? You try to isolate people. You don't let them talk to each other before you talk to the next, individual. They go to the house and he's not there because he's in town, and they get from the brother and from the father, this is what happened that night, and blah, 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 and this and that. And she needs him to verify the story, but they needed to talk to him to square the story away. So don't let him get on his phone, that whole thing. And his brother had said he was with a girl that night, right? That's where he went after the bar. So he's got an alibi, right? And then Maria happens to be there in town with him because he's gone to see her. He takes the phone call. The deputy does his best to keep him from taking the call. I need you to not take that call. I need you to answer my questions. Anyone who knows their rights is, if I'm not under arrest, I'm taking this call, and I will answer your call, when I'm done. And he takes the call. You were with a girl. Now he's in the situation. I'm actually with a girl that I don't want to say in front of. I was with a girl last night. But what choice does he have? I was with a girl last night. Okay, what was her name? And
Chris
Maria says,
Listo. No, I'm sorry.
Right. Maria says he was with me. Okay, so she steps in.
Had she not spoken up, if he was smart, he would just been like, some girl I met in a bar. I don't know her name.
He would have had that opportunity, but she was trying to help him out, and it wasn't true. And that ends up coming up later on. Here's another thing, guys. I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but if you're ever in a situation where you're being questioned by the lawyers, 4 words. Shut the fuck up. You say nothing. Shut the fuck up until you have a lawyer present.
Those are the 4 words you want. I want a lawyer.
Okay, well, I'm telling you 4 words. Shut the fuck up. You say, I want a lawyer.
As soon as you say you want a lawyer, they cannot talk to you.
Well, they can, but they know that you won't speak. That's the key. You know your rights. You've expressed that you know your rights.
lawyer.
That's not entirely true. They can trick you into talking. They can even lie to you. So shut the fuck up. You hear me? This is not considered legal advice. I am not a lawyer. I don't even play one on the YouTubes. But if you are ever in a situation being questioned by the police, you shut the fuck up. Even if you're innocent, you shut the fuck up. You have a right to an attorney. You have a right to have that attorney present when you are being questioned. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
So you want an attorney now? Well, sounds like you got something to hide.
And they will
just
say to
asking
you,
questions.
if you are asking for an attorney, that makes you sound guilty. I don't care. I want an attorney. Even as I don't want you to take anything that I say and misinterpret it. I want a lawyer. I am innocent. I want a lawyer.
I used to watch this show called Homicide: Life on the Street. It's a cop show from the '90s.
Great show. Great show.
Yeah, there was an episode where each of the cops are giving interviews, or they're just talking like out loud, or I don't know. And one of the things, one of the cops says, "Always ask for a lawyer." They're like saying, because when we get you in that room, we are going to find out what you did. It's like they were basically saying, always ask. It was kind of funny because the characters. It's almost like you're seeing their school of thought. Like they're not literally saying this, but that's what they were saying. Like
what the cops do, and this show depicts it very clearly. Joy puts the brothers in two separate rooms. What does she say to the one brother? I've already talked to your brother. He's already told me everything. This is your opportunity to come clean. Right? The other brother hasn't told her anything. She's just saying that. If you get one to confess, then you can say to the other one, hey, the other one already confessed. He said this, that, and the other, and get the other one. That's what you do. That is basic interrogation 101, right? Luckily, what happens? Dad shows up with the attorney. Come on, boys. Time to go home.
Yeah, stop talking. Like...
And the brothers almost get into a fight outside. You turned on me. You ratted me out. And this is that typical TV. You need to talk to each other. You need to come clean, right? And the lawyer needs to say, look, you shut up. I don't want to hear it. You don't say it to that. Nothing. You deny. You say, stay silent. But luckily for the sake of narrative, they didn't really give away anything. She was already suspicious, and she's, being more suspicious doesn't really make a difference. But
so the Tillersons, we get an impression of what they want, right? Or at least what the head of the family wants, right?
He wants the land. The brothers want retribution for their brother. Yeah,
because of some magic rock, right? I don't know.
The Tillersons are also very rich, so they think they can have whatever they want.
And all experience demonstrates they kind of can, actually. There's the, what was the thing with that geode sitting on the side of his bed that he spills the Clamato on? Netter said it looked like there was worms crawling around in it or something.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with that.
And the Clamato, here's what happens. I don't think he necessarily wants it for the hole in the ground. I don't think he knows about the hole in the ground. He knows about these rocks that he had an experience with like 9 years prior when I guess one of his farmhands came and showed it to him, right? And they're speaking Spanish. Mm-hmm. He's like, don't tell anybody about this. And
unfortunately, and I would have to go back and re-listen to it slowly because my Spanish isn't so good, and there was no translation.
Yeah, so there wasn't the one I was watching.
Oh, yeah, what did he say?
Yeah. He basically he just said, I found this rock on the West Pasture on the Abbott land, and he's like, don't tell anyone you found this. If you find anything else like this, you bring it to me, and don't say anything
about the properties of the rock or anything.
No, he didn't say anything about the properties of the rock. It's something he knows about from, I guess, many years ago, and we don't know what the rocks are and why he wants them. Okay.
That's the thing. What was he doing on Abbott land to get the rock in the first place? That's trespassing.
It was.
Yes. Well, which is exactly why you wouldn't want to tell anyone. I mean, look, if you're a farmhand your hat blows onto somebody else's land, you jump the fence, you go get your hat, whatever.
And normally not a big deal, right? As
Right,
long
right.
as everybody's friendly, if you get on my line a little bit, I would.
Hell, I would imagine, given the context, Abbott doesn't know anything about the rocks. He took a rock from my land. What do I care? It's okay. So another tangent. I had a great uncle that we used to go visit. He lived out in Antioch, about 40-50 minute drive from where we're at. And he had like not slate, but like those rounded, smooth stones in his driveway. And he had a long drive. I'd say it was a 1/4 mile driveway. And I used to go and I used to take these stones. Little 8-year-old Troy, right? He thought, these rocks, there's so many of them, you don't need them all. I'm going to take and fill my pockets with these rocks, and I'm going to take them to Uncle Nick, because Uncle Nick said he wants to build a garage with stones. So I would take these rocks to Uncle Nick, and I would give him these stones, and he'd go, oh, just a few more, and I'll be able to build my garage. So I thought I was doing real good. And Uncle Ralph would give me grief. He'd be like, you're stealing all my rocks? You're giving them to Nick? And I'm like, is that not okay? He goes, yeah, okay. It's you. You can take the stone. Just playing around with me. But yeah, the same kind of thing. Who cares? They're rocks, right? And my mom would be like, you shouldn't do that. He's got to replace those rocks. He's like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's having fun.
Oh. All right. So, and he's a bit of a nutter, right?
He's knucking futs. So he talks to, so he's got, okay, this was the other thing too, right? So he's rich, right? So he's got, these big high ceilings and expensive, mansion like cabin and whatnot.
Clam juice whenever he wants it.
Yeah, he drinks this friggin' Clamato. I don't know if the reason he's drinking this because someone told him it was good for whatever it is that he's, on the respirator for. I don't know. But he drinks this Clamato. I don't know. That in and of itself tells you that the guy's disturbed. I mean, he doesn't even put vodka in it. It's just straight friggin' Clamato. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Anyway, he's got, and rich people, they go hunting. They got trophies on their wall. Okay, fine. So you've got, a deer head. You've got a bison. You've got some squirrels or whatever. No, he's got a whole wall. Okay, it's one of these high ceilings that goes up 2 floors, right? And this whole wall is freaking covered with taxidermied owls. It looks so fucking gaudy. I'm like, 1 or 2 is pretty cool. That many? What the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously.
Every time they cut back to Tillerson House, it's a cross between like the Great Northern Hotel from Twin Peaks or Ben Gazzara's house in Roadhouse.
It looks like, yes, you're absolutely right. It looks like the Great Northern, cabin motel or hotel, right?
Yeah.
But filled with shit that a hoarder would have. That's what's crazy about it. There's a friggin' motorcycle in the living room. Netter pointed that out. I'm like, they're rich? I don't know.
He gave a story about how he kept collecting all this erotic art, remember?
Yeah, that story went nowhere.
Was that Johnny Depp's friend's art or something that he was collecting? I don't know.
I've seen some of that guy's art. It's like sick shit. It's like, characters from sitcoms, like old 40s and 50s
like
sitcoms.
Ozzie and Harriet or something, or
not like Ozzie and Harriet, but like the Honeymooners or Lucy and Desi and those guys, but like in X-rated situations. And it's like, the fuck is wrong with you? His artwork is good. He's a good artist. I mean, comic book-ish, but still really good. Better than a lot of the comic book art I see these days. But it's like, holy crap. And then of course he's got to get political, right? He's got, Orange Man with spooge all over his face and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's like, whatever, he's these sick libtards, But anyway, so I imagine that's the kind of stuff I figured when he's talking about this erotic art he used to collect. And it goes into this long freaking story about how he figured, I'd have this erotic art up on the wall and it would get me excited and get my heart rate going, but it never did. So I got more and more and more and more. And I'm sitting here going, fucking rich people problems? Really? Because I put a couple of dirty pics up on the wall and they don't do it for me? I don't put any more up. Duh. Actually, let's be honest with you. I mean, I say, there's nothing on TV, ain't that? Or let me see your bottom. That's what. But I'm a married guy, so anyway, I think differently.
Well, okay. So Abbott, he didn't take Tillerson. He didn't take the news of his son. Well, actually, we haven't gotten to that part yet, have we?
Yeah, okay, he still thinks that the son is out. Fucking around. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So what ends up happening? You know what? I might be jumping ahead, but for fuck's sake,
I think
it's already been 2 hours, and we're only on the second episode. Let's get fucking into this. So the little girl has this tendency to go out on hikes, okay? Which, again, I think is a problem. She could fall and break her neck, fall into the fucking hole and disappear. Anything can happen to her. But I guess she can run around and do whatever the fuck she wants because, television. And she goes off into the woods and she finds the body. This body that got thrown into the hole ended up, on the side of a hill in the middle of nowhere, right? So what does she do? She goes running back. I found a dead body. So what does Royal do? He immediately calls the police because he knows I threw this into the hole. I didn't put it there. Anyone could have put it there. It's their problem. Let her investigate the friggin' thing.
Also, it's not like they can tell the little girl, "Hey, we just don't tell anyone you saw the body." That's not going to work.
That's another point. Another point. You can't even fucking tell her to shut up and get to bed, let alone forget that you saw a dead fucking body. Right?
Here's another thing you got to remember. At that point, the rest of the family still does not know about the hole.
That's true.
They don't know.
The only person that knows is that Amanda Seyfried looking bitch. She's the only one that knows about it besides him that we know of.
Yeah.
So they call the police. The police show up. He takes them out. They're looking at the body. And, he's dead. He's got this big... Oh, yeah, because... First thing, and this is when you knew he was dead, he got punched in the throat and you heard go crack, right? So he got punched in the throat, right? So there's this big, on his throat, big bruise, right? And he's all fucked up and he's dead, right? How long has he been dead? 10 hours. This is days after he died. Yeah. So again, we got the timey-wimey happening, right? He's been dead long enough for him to no longer be in rigor, but not long enough to start decomposing. And he should be fucking decomposed by now based on how long he's been missing.
It also means the kid's off the hook.
It kind of does, right? Because the defense is, the last I saw him, I got into a fight with him here. Okay? If he's dead now, it wasn't me. Because I didn't kill him that night. That wasn't me. He went somewhere, he did something. You figure out what that shit is. It wasn't me. It's not my job to prove I'm innocent. You got to prove I'm guilty. All you can prove is that I saw him on this night at the bar. And your own proof shows that he died many days later. So I'm in the clear. No problem. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. The fact is, he's dead. Looks like he's only been dead about 10 hours in the middle of nowhere with no traffic, no foot traffic other than the little girls, right? And she didn't carry this fucking body here, right? You can't implicate anyone from footprints because there's no footprints, right? Well, that's not entirely true because after they've roped off the area and taken the body away, Royal goes out there and starts stomping around. So, but we don't know if anything comes of that, after episode 4. Dumbass. But
we forgot to mention the little girl got a ride from one of the Tillersons.
That
remember?
was fucking creepy.
And he says, "Would you like some chewing tobacco?" Didn't he offer her some, and then put it in the thing with the gun showing? It's like,
who offers a little girl chaw?
I mean, it was polite. I'm having some. Did you bring enough for everyone? Yes. Would you like some? I mean, it's fair, but no. And I like the look on her face. She looks at him. She's like, I don't know how to respond to this. No, thank you. It's like,
it's like at the same time, he doesn't know how to talk to her in a way, because he has this weird sort of closed off,
right,
Celine Dion thing going on anyway. Like, I don't know if I don't mean this to sound like anything, because I don't. Let me put it this way. I keep half expecting him to break into show tunes.
Singer dude, yeah. And the song funeral made no sense.
I don't know if
we'll get to that, yeah.
I don't know if he wants to be on American Idol or if he's just lighting the sneakers. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get him.
You know what? I took it. It could go one of two ways. Either he fancies himself a singer, he wants to get a career as a singer, or he's like me. He just likes to sing. Netter, tell them I sing sometimes, right? Actually, so do you. So I mean, it's just something we do. I mean, it's pretty natural. But I don't sing as good as he does. He actually sings pretty good,
He's not bad. No, where are we? You have, on top of everything else happening, you have this, dark, Taylor Sheridan Western thing going on over here. You have this David Lynch supernatural stuff going on over here. And then, and then you have this guy here who's like doing this sort of mini Leland Palmer act on his own. Yeah. And I don't know quite what to make of him.
Mares eat oats and does eat oats and little lambs eat ivy. You could eat ivy too, wouldn't you? It's funny because my grandfather used to sing that. So when I heard it in Twin Peaks, it didn't strike me as crazy because, I'd heard it before. And same thing here, what? He's driving along with Amy, and I don't remember if it was on the radio or he just starts singing. Thunder only happens when it's raining, right? I mean, wasn't that what? It was a Fleetwood Mac song, right? Yeah. It was Dreams, right? Yeah. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. See, what happens is I hear these songs that I really like, and then I practice them for karaoke, and then I realize I sound like shit. And then on my own stream, I get drunk, and I think I sound good, and I know I don't, but at least I'm having fun,
Hey, okay. So when Tillerson finds out about the
designated driver, thank you, Agent Boomer.
When he finds about his deceased son, doesn't he strip naked and do like a belting yell at like the bison head on the wall or whatever that was?
So first he talks to the bison head like it's a person. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. And then you're right. At one point he drops his robe and he kneels in front of it naked. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But speaking of bison, we also got apparently a live bison walking around the West 40 with 2 fucking arrows in his side.
Yeah, but here's my question.
Somebody take those damn arrows out of him, and at some point the hippie chick finally does take one out. I mean, yeah, but it is very Lynchian. I can't figure out what the fuck the bison, I swear, is like the white horse in Twin Peaks. Just shows up randomly for no apparent fucking reason.
Well, I'm wondering, is this bison from another time, like maybe from when the tribes were roaming about?
Fuck knows. Maybe he's one of the aliens that put the hole there. I don't know.
Okay,
it makes no
what makes you think?
Sense.
Hold on. What makes you think aliens are even involved in this?
Because of course
It
there
could
are.
be.
It's all aliens, right? Aliens.
I've seen no evidence.
No, you're
I
right. There hasn't been any
Yeah.
evidence of aliens. But if there turns out to be some evidence of aliens later, I won't be fucking surprised. Anything could friggin' happen here. Honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing that's so cool about the show is I love finally having a show back where you can
I just
theorize
honestly
again.
I see this escalating like that. Like turns out to be
Yeah.
aliens. And I just see Josh Brolin going, well fuck. Of course it's friggin' aliens. What else would it be? You know? I mean,
Let's see.
I love him in this. Just to go back to Josh Brolin, how fucking great is he in this show?
how down to
If
earth,
he
right?
does-
It's like,
if he
I
does
don't know
not
what
get-
this is all about. Time travel and bullshit and all this craziness. All I know is it's a hole I can drop a body in and get rid of it. You know?
You know, he was in the Goonies. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
yeah.
That was his first role, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
One of his first, yeah.
I loved him in Planet Terror. I do like him a lot in that movie.
Wait,
Oh,
what was
yeah,
he in
he's-
Planet
he's
Terror?
good.
He was like the demented medical doctor. Remember, his wife wanted to leave him for Fergie, and
Oh, right.
there's it's a funny. Like she
That
says-
sounds like it would be a good
That's
rewatch.
that's a
Sunday.
fun
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fun movie. And I like how the wife who's going to leave him has that little list, get milk, pick up the kid, kill Bill, because that's his character name, Bill. So it's kill Bill.
Of course. I'm trying to
Now-
think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Dr. William
Oh,
Bluff.
that's
Doc
the
Frost, yeah.
second takeaway for tonight, everyone. Okay, I already said shut the fuck up. I want a lawyer, right? That's your first lesson. Second lesson, never in writing. Put nothing in writing, because that'll come back later in court. Just saying.
Well, her father was the sheriff, so in that movie.
Yes. So we have the matriarch of the Tillerson clan shows up for the funeral.
Oh yeah.
I have been very, very lax. I'm sorry, guys. I need to interrupt. I have not been paying close enough attention to the chat, and I do have to say hi real quick to a new arrival, Janet from another planet. Interplanet Janet, she's a galaxy girl, and here she is in our chat. She encourages me just like Mags does on the social medias, and here she is in my chat just to make me feel good tonight. I'm assuming she's come in, hit the like. Netter's probably given her the hi sweeties. I hope she did, because she is good people. And do me a favor, Netter. This is a new one. Look, I just found out myself. Janet from Another Planet has a YouTube channel. Can you please look her up and drop her link, because she's trying to grow too. And as PJ of Orville Nation always says, we grow together. As the water rises, all boats rise. And I want to give her a shout out. Heard her guesting on someone else's channel, and I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. And she sounds like awesome. And then I started following her channel and listened to all of her videos, and her videos are cute little, short little make your day type of stuff. So go check it out. I would really appreciate it. That was our sponsor for the day is Janet from Another Planet. Continue on, whoever was talking that I just interrupted.
I was mentioning what's her name first? The Miss, I guess the ex Tillerson. Hold on. Mrs. Tillerson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Hex
Maybe.
crazy.
No, sorry, no. What's her name?
Mom.
God, what the hell was
Patricia.
her name?
Patricia.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was
Played
kind
by
of
the very lovely Deirdre O'Connell. I mean,
Oh yeah.
older, but still very, very beautiful.
I
But
remember her from Sirens. That was this kind of Canadian police show
Yes,
that
yes,
wound up,
yes. You're right. Okay.
getting shown here during that writer's strike that one time, and it kind of blew up and became a hit here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deirdre O'Connor. That's why I was a little surprised when I saw her here. I'm like, I recognized her, but I'm like, woof. She
And
looks
she's
a little haggard, and then I realized that's the role
she's
she's
older.
Well,
playing.
that's the character
Yeah.
too. I think
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
just
Oh, very
for
much so. Very much
short
so.
makeup and everything else. I mean, to be fair, I think everybody is kind of funny looking on this show. Let's be honest here.
And that's very clear.
Not everybody, but a lot of the characters are kind of odd. It's kind of like how in the Perry Mason HBO series, I argued everyone in that show except for like one character looked very seedy,
Yeah.
and this they all seem a little off.
Yes. You're right.
Like the one brother making the sandwich with the roast beef. Remember that? That was a weird scene. That was just he's dribbling mustard on. Like, what is he dribbling mustard on? Oh, I see. It's roast beef, right? It's just it's okay. So she shows up, and we have that weird funeral, right? First, we learned that she had originally wanted to take the boys to Colorado, and he's like, "No, we're Wyoming." It's like, okay,
yeah, yeah. Clearly, there's some family dynamics going on there. Don't know what's going on with that.
She opens up the casket.
Yeah, she just opens it up for no apparent reason. Just
she had a reason.
What was her reason?
She was trying to gauge reactions from the people at the funeral, and that's when she whispers. Because I guess he turns away from the corpse, and he's like, the way he turns away from the corpse, it's him. He's the one that did it. Like, she did it to. Now, I don't know how scientific that is or anything, but she was trying.
Well,
to
see, no, that's the exact point, because Netter pointed this out. She's like, how does she know that? I said, well, she's perceptive. She's been established, and I didn't catch the connection that you just described to me, Boomer.
Yeah.
But what I did know is, A, she was right. B, she's perceptive. Okay, fine. But again, this comes down to just like we're seeing with the sheriff, right? There's what you know, and there's what you can prove.
Exactly.
Congratulations, you know he killed your son. Good luck proving it.
Tillersons aren't the law.
Yeah.
So
about me is her walking over to the casket and thrusting open the lid. That is impossible. They lock those.
She did point that out. That is a good point. When it's a closed casket like that, it's literally screwed closed.
It is locked.
Yeah.
With the church key.
She's right. She's
right.
absolutely right. But for the sake of story, because story has to happen, I understand what they were doing.
Maybe there's a deleted scene where she tells the Undertaker, "Don't lock the casket."
Those kinds of maybe those kind of
it's
details though do tend to pull someone out of a story if they know that. But yeah, I guess you got to suspend your disbelief on details like that. But yeah. So and I did like, this is one of those situations, right, where you have a cast of goofballs, right? And then you have other supporting characters that are like, the fuck? Because
the Frito guy?
The priest is like, and he's like, he doesn't know what to do with this. It's like, whatever,
She says, keep reading, don't stop. And it's like, well,
I didn't tell you to stop, keep going. Yeah, it's like, okay. Not the normal reaction I would have expected, but there you go. But yeah, and I loved, I don't remember who it was that was talking about the fact that Royal and his family was there. Well, you got a lot of guts being here. And it's like, under the circumstances, it would look bad if they didn't show up. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
It's like the whole mafia thing, right? It's like,
It's true. It's what
not
somebody told my mom once. The fact is, you go to a mafia funeral, the person that killed him is probably there, and it's probably express their condolences to the family. Yeah. Just saying.
Well, that's the Barzini moment, isn't it? From The Godfather. The person who will come to you to make the deal is the traitor in your organization, and that's basically what happened. That's the Tessio moment, Yeah. Hey, but Barzini wants to set up this meeting with you, and goodbye,
this is what my grandmother told me, and I didn't you don't understand this as a kid. You figure it out as an adult. She said exactly that. She's like, when you have family that's involved in that, you play the game, you're real polite, but you know that everybody that's involved in that is potentially a son of a bitch murderer, and any one of them could have been the one that killed him. So fuck them all, but you still put on a smile and say thank you. I appreciate you being here. You're good people. Move on. You know, it's just the way it is. So anyway, yeah. So she knows who it is. This is getting very, very complicated. We got a lot of moving parts here. We got a lot of characters. Some know, others know. But again, there's what you know, there's what you can prove. And when you can throw a body into a hole and have it show up somewhere else days later, it kind of fucks up your crime scene. I'd like to see them trying to, pin that to them. Yes, they killed him on this date, and then they threw him into the body into a vortex, and it jumped a week into the future, and that's why it didn't decompose.
And technically, it wasn't on their property. Is that right? The body?
Well, depends. See,
I think they made a mention of that, like it was a little past.
Clear that land. So technically, it was their property until they cleared the land, right?
No, but I don't know. Speaking of the land thing, the guy, what'd you think of the Frito guy?
Oh, that fat ass, yeah. I did love that bit of when he says to the wife, and see, you go to the wife, she's the God-fearing. Oh, Jackie Blue. So glad you're here. You know what? I want to highlight you. Hi there. Welcome. Thanks so much for being here. Please hit the like button. I hope you're subscribed. It's very encouraging to see you here. We got a lot of catching up to do. We're talking about Outer Range. If you subscribe to Amazon Prime, check it out. They're six episodes in. We're talking about the first 4 episodes. It's a really good show. Weird as all balls. Definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, what was I saying?
Frito guy.
Oh, the Frito guy. So this is the corrupt county guy, right?
Yeah, the corrupt county assessor.
And that took a bribe to say, yeah, this is your land because you said so. And he's, Josh Brolin goes to him trying to be all, hey, can we work something out? No, we have a hearing at the end of the month, and I don't want to talk about it now. We'll talk about it at the end of the month.
And he keeps shoving Fritos into his mouth.
He's shoving Fritos into his mouth, right? And so what happens? Josh Brolin finally loses it, and he snaps, and he goes, look, you know you took a bribe. I know you took a bribe. Fuck you. Straighten this out, or I'm going to put you in a hole in the ground. Now, the way he says it just sounds like I'll kill you and bury you. And then we as an audience know he's going to put him in a fucking hole in the ground and the body's going to fucking disappear, right?
And you know what's not in that hole? Fritos.
Yeah, and there's no Fritos in that hole. Oh, yeah. And I got to be honest with you. I'll be honest. I'm looking at this going, fuck it, man. Now I want some friggin' Fritos,
Yeah. The honey barbecue ones are kind of die for. I do like
Netter
those.
Loves the barbecue ones.
Yeah, they're not bad.
The
chili cheese ones are the ones.
Another one, okay.
I can't find them anywhere anymore.
They're hard to find. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
Anyway, I need more calories. Screw that shit. Because I don't want to end up looking like that fat ass again.
I know it's almost like a detrimental thing about Fritos. It's like you're.
Yeah.
Do you know what Fritos means in Spanish? Technically, it means fried things. It means fried things. That's really what it is. It's some dough that they fried and they made, and it's just dough and fried oil. It's fat and carbohydrates. There's no nutritional value. It tastes yummy as all hell, but all it does is pack on the pounds. You don't need that shit. That's not, Anyway,
All right, but
So
did you sorry I had to interrupt. Did you recognize the actor playing the county assessor?
damn it, I didn't.
Oh,
He looked familiar, and I
okay.
couldn't place it.
Can I hazard a guess?
No,
We don't
please.
normally see him with a mustache. Is that correct? Is he the guy?
Not in anything I've ever seen him in. No.
Do you remember the movie Identity
no.
with John Cusack? What about True Blood? One of the seasons of True Blood, there was the vampire psychologist at the government facility. I think that's him. I think he's a character actor. I've seen him. I could be wrong. Is that him?
The actor? Well, I don't know if he was ever. He's not the guy I'm thinking of. Is not an Identity, but
Okay.
But kudos for knowing Identity.
It may not be him. It may not be him because I'm thinking the guy has a mustache. Maybe I don't know what he looks like with that mustache.
Wait. Identity, is that the one that turns out that all the people in the movie are multiple personalities of the same guy?
Spoiler. Anyway, yeah, and the guy, same
that
guy.
ain't him. That ain't him because he's got the fucking googly eyes. That's not him.
Okay, different actor then.
It's
Okay,
not him. Different actor.
Okay.
Different actor.
Okay.
You're thinking of Pruitt Taylor Vince.
Okay, all right.
This guy is Kevin. This guy is Kevin Chamberlain. He was the bomb squad guy in Die Hard 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's sort of anticlimactic because you went for character actor and I went for the guy who was the bomb squad guy in Die Hard.
right.
No, but I wanted to bring
he
up
shows
a
up
point.
at the funeral, right? And he goes up to the wife and says, "Tell your husband we're moving up the hearing by a couple weeks. Tell him I don't respond well to threats." And I love what's her name, Cecilia?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, the pious religious woman. Oh, you don't respond, and she's, and behind her eyes she's getting a little annoyed that her husband went and threatened someone. That's not good. But she's like, "Oh, really? But you'll take a bribe. That's what you'll do." And he's got this look like, "Oh, okay, no points here."
And then he has mustard on his shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got mustard on your shirt.
Mustard on your tie.
Yeah.
Mustard on your tie. That's right.
Honestly, he's the smarmy type of character that you hope he dies. I mean, honestly, there's nobody in this film except maybe the wife who's like a good person.
Yeah.
But there are some characters in here that are worse than others, and you just want them just to fall into the fucking hole. Just go away. I want you to not exist on this earth anymore. But I guess that's what makes for compelling drama, right? I mean, that's the whole point here.
But another thing we haven't kind of really gotten to yet is we still do not know who this mysterious company is in the future that is.
Oh, I just assumed that it had
manipulating
something
all
to
of this.
do with the Tillersons. I figured they started a mining company or something to get these rocks or whatever.
Well, I don't want to go too far into it, obviously, because I've seen an episode.
You've seen a couple
more
episodes, or you've
yeah.
seen at least one more episode than we have.
So
That's true.
But we get in episode 5, we get a little bit of an idea who these people might be.
So,
but it's still veiled.
Here's the summation that I want to throw out to everybody. We did a lot of spoilers here, but we're less than half. We've basically shared with you about half of the show. There's still a whole half a season to go yet, and so many questions. These are less spoilers and more hooks, in my opinion. I'm hoping that by having shared what we've shared about this show, maybe you're interested, you go check it out. I'm kind of thinking, and I'm guessing because I haven't seen him comment in a while, maybe we lost soundtracks with Birdman, but maybe Boomer, you tap him and say, "Hey,
sure,
check out this show," and maybe 4 episodes from now, we do something on his channel and talk about the soundtrack, because we haven't even talked about. I mean, there's some, and some of the songs, as good as they are, as much as I love them, I was like, well, this seems kind of out of place. There's at one point he what's his name? The brother Billy or something. He's making a sandwich for himself. He's actually making two sandwiches because he's making one for his brother for no apparent reason. I thought that was kind of nice.
Yeah, why not? It's nice when someone makes you like they're making a
Yeah.
deal. You have one, have another one.
And it's like, and out of nowhere, he starts singing, "Just call me angel of the morning, angel." And what is his brother? Would you shut the fuck up? Just stop, please. And I was like, he actually sounded really good. And then that song is just in my head.
For the
I'm
rest
like,
of the day,
I've been hearing it ever since.
right. Well, but see, he sings it right, but then they start playing it like the release version of the song, you know, in the next scene. And it took me a little while. I wasn't sure if this was the 60s version of the song or the Juice Newton version of the song. Yeah, I figured it out because, you know, when she gets to the bridge and she goes, well, I'm not going to even try to do it because I can't do it like Juice Newton. Yeah, when she gets to that baby line, it's like, that's Juice Newton. That is not, that's only Juice Newton. I kind of had a crush on Juice Newton in the 80s. I admit. And that's when I started to transition into country music. That's when I started. I think I've mentioned before that I went through a country phase in college. All growing up, my dad used to listen to what I used to refer to as his hillbilly records. He had a bunch of country music on 45s because he was a hick. And when I got into my teen years, I had some real problems with my dad, and I refused to listen to country music. That was his music. Fuck him. And then I got to college, and I had a buddy named Daryl who was real into country music. Introduced me to what's his name? I got friends in low places. What's his name? Garth Brooks. Thank you. Before he even charted, he's like this new up and coming guy, Garth Brooks. The song he played for me was Papa's in the graveyard, Mama's in the pen, or maybe it's the other way around. Whatever. Someone got arrested. Someone ended up dead.
Okay.
You know? And it wasn't until he put out like 3 other songs that charted before that song even hit the radio. So I was like, oh, I've heard that song before. Anyway, I decided, screw it. You know, my dad and whatever issues he's got is not going to prevent me from liking music. Just because he doesn't mean I'm not going to listen to it. But yeah, it was Juice Newton that was my gateway into country music. So anyway, what were you talking about? Oh yeah, so we were talking about the soundtrack, right? And I mean, when you talk about songs, Netter mentioned this at the funeral. Billy sings "Don't Give Up" by Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush. Great song, it really is. But I'm like, this makes no fucking sense at a funeral. What do you mean, don't give up? He's dead. I mean, he's dead. What do you mean, don't give up? You know? And he's singing it like it's so sad and it's making him cry. And it's like, I mean, dude, you're singing it pretty good, but what the fuck does this have to do with a funeral?
This reminds me of what did like Will Smith's son show up to a wedding in a Batman costume. This strikes me as like an inappropriate thing to be doing. Like you're putting the spotlight on you when you're here for your deceased or for the person getting married. You're not here to make a spectacle of yourself, you know. That's sort of what
not
that
only
reminds
does the
me of.
stupid kid show up in a Batman costume, but the parents fucking let him do it. That's you know what, that's a topic for Geeky Geezer some other night. That's a
yes, I know.
Family.
But my point is, I think that was him trying to focus the attention on him at his brother's funeral. That's what which I thought was a little.
So my point is, that's actually kind of a common theme. We've got a lot of songs that don't seem to make a lot of sense in the context. But I'm guessing if I was to go back and rewatch these, which I may end up doing, I may end up fucking getting obsessed with this like I did with Twin Peaks and rewatch and glean little bits of detail and stuff. But there might be more to why they put certain songs in that they do. I mean, later on they play State Trooper by Bruce Springsteen, one that I referenced in my monologue at the beginning. That kind of made sense because there's, a police situation happening in that scene. So, kind of, but yeah, I mean, I honestly, when I heard him singing Don't Give Up, Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush, I'm like rubbing my temples going, why? And then there's this little voice in the back of my head going, it could be Wuthering Heights. Don't think too hard about it, I mean, could you imagine that? Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights. Come on. Someone's got to know Wuthering Heights, Kate Bush.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I might have heard it before. It's not, I'm not.
See, I'd pull it up, but the channel gets struck. I don't want to do that.
It's okay. It's okay.
After the stream, you go, you check, the
Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights.
Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights. You'll hear it and you'll go, I know that song. That's a weird ass fucking song, but I know that song. It is a weird ass fucking song, but it's one of those ones that gets in your head and you just can't.
I have another thing that you might want to keep in mind for the upcoming episode, Troy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to say it like this, and I'm not going to say anything else about it. Country metal.
Huh.
I'll have to look into this. I've never heard of that. But
country metal.
Country metal. Keep that in mind. It's going to come up.
I'm sure there are kids that live in the country that listen to metal. I just don't know.
I'm guessing there are either metal bands that are covering country songs or the other way around.
I've heard of country rock. Like,
I
don't know. Like The Devil Came Down to Georgia, that sort of thing,
He
but
was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind. He was looking at the deal. So, little story there. Look, this is my channel. I can go off on tangents because it's my channel. So fuck it. Nanette and I used to be real involved with our church, and we had we went to a Bible study, not a Bible study. I think it was a leadership group.
Right.
With the minister was doing a I have no friggin' clue what the lesson was or anything like that, but it came up in conversation that he knew The Devil Went Down to Georgia front to back. He could recite the whole thing without having to look it up. And someone said, okay, let's hear it. And he went right through it. And well, before he started, he goes, I'm not editing it. I'm going to say it the way it's written. So I don't want to hear any one of you giving me guff about it. And he just, from beginning to end, he goes right through it. And he says, I told you once, you son of a bitch, I'm the best that's ever been. And everyone was like, he did it. He said it, and then he did it.
Well, it's different quoting something than just simply saying it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And because he, and he also said the same thing. He's like, if you're going to say it, it's like the scripture says, right? I'd rather you be hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. He's like, if you're going to do it, do it. If you're going to quote something, quote it. Just say it. It's the way it is. I have to admit, I respected that. But then there was like 4 of us that were like, fire on the mountain, run, boys, run. Well, there you go, Anyway.
All right.
We should probably get to wrapping this up. I'm sure there's other points and little things, but honestly, I think what this story comes down to is that's what makes this interesting. You don't know watching it through your first time what's important, what isn't. I I mean, for example, I don't know if anyone noticed this, but there was a scene that showed like the center of town, and you saw the theater was playing the Phantom Toll Booth. Did anyone catch that?
Really?
Yes, the Phantom Toll Booth, 1970. It's
I
a
never
kid's story about
I heard
a
the book. I didn't realize it was a movie too. Okay.
Oh, yeah, starring Mel Blanc. Well, Mel Blanc plays one of the main characters.
Okay.
But, yeah. It's definitely worth checking out. I would encourage you to check that out. But the themes in that kid that finds a phantom toll booth and toy car and stuff like that, and is able to use it to travel to another dimension. When he goes there, it becomes a cartoon, kind of like Mary Poppins ish.
Oh, I see.
But very clearly seems to be evoking some of the otherworldly transporting kind of things. I'm like, that's not an accident. You don't just pull, an obscure film from the 70s and have that playing at the theater. That didn't just happen to be playing at the theater on location where they were filming,
Yeah, sure it was.
It could have been, I doubt it,
Okay.
So, little details like that kind of show up, and I'm like, but I was pretty young when that. Well, look, that actually came out the year before I was born, so it took me a while to even become aware of it. So, just saying. But anyway, I would say let's go through last words to sum it up, guys. Age of Boomer, last impressions.
Well, I'm intrigued. We had that poker game. That was the final thing I saw, and him actually he's going to put up the whole what is it, West Acres.
Without getting too into the details on that.
Yeah.
It's at the funeral. Afterwards, it's in the pub. They're having the repast or whatever you want to call it. And Josh Brolin wanders off into the back and he hears something going on. There's a poker game going on in the back, and there's Autumn taking guys for their paychecks. And he sits down and he's up to something, and he engages her in a card game. And
yeah,
we were debating because I it's been a long time since I've played poker, so I was a little iffy on the hands. But what I did notice was, they both have an opportunity to get to discard and take another one, and there's like, she's got the winning hand, doesn't she? I said, well, it depends on what he got when he drew, if he drew. They filmed it very well because you don't see it. But what was it? They have a little bit of banter back and forth, but the initial
show us your shoes and all that, right? Yeah.
That was a great
show us your feet, not your feet. Yeah.
I love that because he wants to see your feet. Why do you want to see my feet? And then he goes into this great little story, this urban legend about the devil coming to play a game, and noticing that when someone dropped a card and went to pick it up, looked at his feet, saw he had cloven feet, right? Cloven hooves. So he knew he was in a poker game with the devil. And then when he sat up, the devil was gone, right? So I want to see your feet. So she takes off her boot and shows her bare foot, which, must have been a big thrill to the feet enthusiasts out there. Yeah, I just recently became aware of the fact that there's apparently a website out there called WikiFeet.
Oh,
yeah, famous people have pictures of their feet on it for people that are into that kind of stuff. And you'd think that it was because I was like looking for something. No, totally innocuous. I'm watching a YouTube channel, and it's this comedian that does political satire, and she's like, yeah, it turns out that I have a WikiFeet page. And I'm like, what the fuck is WikiFeet? And I unfortunately found out about it. Anyway, so that's how it kind of came off. But she wants to see his feet, and he goes, nah, I'm good. Okay, apparently he's good. So they play their game, and what are the terms, right? You get to stay on the land as long as you want if you win. But if he wins, she's got to leave, right? Okay, fine. They deal the cards. They look at their cards. I want to up the ante. If you win, I'll tell you whatever you want to know, the whole history, the whole everything, right? If I win, I get your necklace. She's got this necklace. It's like a crystal kind of thing. It's probably one of the rocks from the land, right?
That's what we're assuming. But
we don't know what the details are. And she agrees to it, and he wins. And it was the big reveal. He had the full house, so he wins. And it was as I said to Nanette. I said he discarded the 2. He already had 2 pair. He just had to get a jack or a queen, right? Well, we don't see him discard a card, and we don't see him take another card. But he comes out of the bar wearing the necklace, sits down in the truck, rolls into his sleeve, pulls out the 2 that he had previously. He cheated, So anyway, I don't know where that's going. Deleted Scenes knows because he's seen the next episode. We'll find out.
Hi, the Woke Breaker. New to the channel.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Woke Breaker. Yes, I have seen you on the Twitters, and you have followed me over here, and I super appreciate you being here. Let me highlight you. Good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. It's nice to see some new faces here. I super appreciate it. Hope you like what we're talking about. I am a full Glenn Gooley into this, and we're wrapping up. So I'm starting to talk a little bit slower, a little bit with the volume modulation up and down. So, please bear with me. We'll be wrapping up, and I'll be telling you what's going on for the rest of the week in just a second. But yeah, I would encourage anybody that gets the opportunity, check out this Outer Range. So far, we're halfway through the season, and it's looking really good. It's better than some of the trash that we've been seeing, the way they've been killing off a lot of our franchises. What have we been saying? If you are so clever and so original and you're such artists, do something new. Well,
this is original.
This is original. This is something new. As far as I know, it's not based on anything like a book or anything like
I don't
that.
think so.
Completely original, as far as I could tell.
Reacher, I'm sorry. I was gonna say Reacher. I really enjoyed on Amazon Prime too. That was a decent. It was an adaptation of one of the Lee Child novels, I think. Yeah. But.
So Stephen, what's your last thoughts for the night on the topic?
Last thoughts for the night is. It's a show that is very much out of time because it puts you in mind of Westerns with Taylor Sheridan's twist to them. It is very...
Do they say when this is actually taking place?
That's what I was wondering, because you have a time period where, yes, there are cell phones, but there are still pay phones around as well.
For all we know, this could be taking place in the 90s.
Or it could just be modern Wyoming. They need the payphone still in that area. Maybe.
Okay, you got a point there. Okay.
You brought up the fact that the movie theater is showing the Phantom Toll booth.
Right.
It is all, it's not just that.
And I would argue Wyoming with a lesbian sheriff, that's got to be fairly modern, right? She wouldn't be that open about it if we go back to like the 80s, say.
Right. But, it is this very odd mix. And, it's like...
Which could be another comparison to Twin Peaks, right? Where Twin Peaks had that kind of 50s feel, but was clearly set in the modern day and could have been anywhere in between.
And it's like Twin Peaks, and for that matter, like Blade Runner. I want to live in that world. The world building in this is is great. You feel like it's real, like it's lived in. It's not like
Yeah.
the sequel trilogy where it looks like they're just making it all up as they went along.
Right.
It's we have been hungering for something original, something thought
And here it
provoking.
is, right?
Here it is. Let's not sleep on this show. Do not let this show go with just one season. This is what we have been looking for.
I mean, and the other thing too is very bingeable type of show. We are 4 episodes into it. But no, I'm sorry. As of today, they've dropped 2 more episodes. So we're 6 episodes into it. Guys, you could binge it and then next week see the end of it, the end of the season. Totally worth it. Or wait until next week and just binge the whole thing over that weekend. It's up to you. But yeah, very interesting. Very interesting stuff. And there we go. So let's look at the week ahead of us. Tomorrow night, Netter and I are not going to be doing the Films with Friends, but you should go over to Big Al Presents. He will be
Mannequin.
Oh yeah, he's watching Mannequin with the professor. So over there, that's the place to be for the Mannequin rewatch on Big Al Presents. Sunday night over on this guy's channel here.
Geeky Geezers.
Geeky Geezers. We got a lot of stuff going on. I still got to put those notes together tomorrow
I'm
morning.
telling you, man, we're like getting like a month's worth of news in a week now with everything going on.
It's like crazy. Yeah. I mean, I just got like 4 articles from Cameron Pasha today. Some of which actually you sent me too, Boomer.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, Batgirl. No more.
Honestly,
not Batwoman, my mistake.
That one I'm not gonna have a lot to say about, right? Because we were already like this can't go another season. And then there was just like, well, maybe it will, maybe it won't. No, it won't. They're canceling it. And,
Legends is gone too.
Who is?
I think you know what I think.
Legends of Tomorrow is canceled as well.
I think they're trying to get rid of the Arrowverse because of the whole selling off deal and the fact that Zaslav probably wants to do things with DC Comics that might make some actual money, and
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that on Sunday, but we'll be talking about Zaslav. We'll definitely be talking about Disney. If you want, I'm perfectly capable of talking about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case.
Well, there's some stuff on that with that petition. I'm going to talk about that. So yeah, we can probably bring that up.
We can talk about that too. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I brought it up, if not on your channel, on my channel months and months and months ago. What do you call it? It's a petition, an online petition to have Amber Heard removed from Aquaman 2. It's gone. It's at 2.25 million signatures. If it hits 3 million, it's going to top the online thing for engagement. So this is a lot of people are kind of regardless of how the case goes, Johnny's pretty much won in the court of public opinion, and Amber Heard.
Well, removing her from the movie might be possible because if the report that she's only in 10 minutes of the movie or has been cut down to 10 minutes is true,
how much would it cost them to hire someone to film 10 minutes of footage?
Yeah, I mean, because you can shoot that in a week.
They're just trying to minimize her role while still holding a contract.
Guys,
I don't know.
I'm just saying, I'm still holding out for Emilia Clarke. Okay, I'm just saying.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
I know there's some people in our community that don't care much for her. I could take her or leave her. I thought, if she'd had better material to work with, she'd have made a great Sarah Connor, to be honest with you. But we know she's got chemistry with what the fuck's his name? Khal Drogo, whatever his name is. So, I'd be great with that. Although, as I've said before, okay, the character of Mura in DC Comics is batshit fucking insane. So maybe they were just typecasting. I don't know. Anyway, so that's Sunday. What do we got? Tuesdays or something going on Matchstick's channel?
Not this week, no. And
Okay.
then
Wednesday,
like I said, Birdman was too talking about. We still did a stream on Wednesday.
Soundtracks of Birdman, and you're going to talk to Soundtracks of Birdman.
We're going to do an Arnold movie. We're hoping for Commando. We got to see if he can get a special guest because one of his regulars wanted to do Commando with us. He was going to see if he could make it. If not, we'll do a different one. But
yep.
Commando is a great, fun 80s action. You know. Oh, bless you.
That's what you've been missing all night when I've been muting my screen. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, so just to peek behind the curtain, I'm trying to get an interview with PJ from Orville Nation. Do a little stream about the Orville and what he's got going on his channel. But he's got some things going on. He won't be able to do it on a Friday, so I'm going to have to do a special stream with him. But it's not going to be this Thursday. It'll be sometime in the future. And that brings us around to next Friday. Although I have not confirmed these plans, currently what I've got on my docket is Wolf 10 Media guesting, and we'll be doing a rewatch. Right. We'll be doing a rewatch of Blind Fury.
That's a good one.
Rutger Hauer, as I recall, right?
It's a great classic 80s action movie. It's what I call a gauntlet action movie where he is going up against bad guy, kind of like running the gauntlet, going up against big worse and worse villains, in the movie. It's an excellent action movie.
My next movie is Black Cauldron, and after that was going to be Blind Fury.
Oh. Well, I mean...
channels, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, did you really want to do Blind Fury? If we could do it on your channel the following week, and then if Wolfie can make it to your channel, I mean.
No, you could do it on yours, and I'll do
whatever the next movie is. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's the current plan. I still got to confirm with Wolfie, but we'll find out.
Nice doggy.
Nice Wolfie, exactly. And that brings us. I don't remember. I know that. We're keeping the rewatch schedule, so that means Big Al next week too. But I just don't remember what he's watching. So get over to Big Al Presents and follow him too. But that's the show for tonight, guys. I'm keeping it a little bit short because Netter and I do have somewhere to be tomorrow night, which means I got to get up and get some shit done because this guy's a taskmaster. I got to get those notes done for him.
Oh, stop! Whatever. Take your time. I can fill in.
Anyway.
All right.
I'm sorry. And deleted scenes. His link is down below. Please hit the like and subscribe and the bell and all the things, because he's starting to put out content. But not only is he putting out content, dude, just like you did tonight, you've been appearing on a bunch of other channels. You want to plug anything that that's coming up in the next week or so?
Yes. I have been co-hosting Saturday Serial with Matt Allen on his channel, Bud Boy Productions.
And so that's tomorrow morning. So, go get to bed so you can get up and listen to deleted scenes.
I don't know if we are going to go on tomorrow. I'm still waiting to hear back from him. But yes, this show is usually Saturdays at 10:30 in the morning. And I'm also going to be likely in the panel for Pulp Culture Minefield Saturday show at 1 p.m. And I'm going to be on karaoke Saturday night with Rambling Canuck, and that'll be at 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm my takeover of YouTube, one channel at a time. It's progressing quite nicely.
There you go. No, that's great. It's a great community, and I hope you do me a favor, and if I can't make it to the streams, make sure you just say hi for me, because those are all good people that deserve support. So follow us on the Twitters, follow us on whatever the other social medias. Remember, we have other tabs on here that tell you what other channels to follow and how you can contact us, and so on and so forth. do all those things. And okay, that's it for me. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks so much for being here. I want to thank, of course, Stephen Otten, Deleted Scenes, for being my guest bartender tonight and cutting me off after one drink. Otherwise, I probably would not be able to end this stream tonight. Aged Boomer, who's making sure that I get through this stream relatively unscathed and get home safely. Netter for well, you know, she had a pretty easy night tonight, but she'd have gotten you guys if you guys got out of hand, and she'd have thrown the bots out. And real quick, Janet from Another Planet, the Woke Breaker. Who else do we got here? We got well, we got us. Magic Mags, thanks for being here tonight. Matt Anui, and David Pensack. And if I missed anyone, you know, I'll string this out a little bit. You can really quick shout me out in the chat to say goodnight. But boy, guys, I super appreciate all of you for being here. Netter, what is it you always say?
It's really great when you guys are here with us. I mean, we could talk amongst ourselves, but it's not as much fun as when you guys are here with us, because you're not just friends, you're family.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
You know, and boy, even more than family can be assholes, but you guys are here to encourage us, you know. And I swear, I mean, you know, I look at Mags, you know, and I look at Janet, and you know, really all of y'all, that especially if we met on the interwebs, it's like you guys will chat and share stuff and whatnot, and you guys are just fun to, in quotes, hang out with throughout the week during the workday and whatnot. And then you come and you listen to me babble on about a TV show that I'm enjoying. Guys, that encourages the hell out of me. I super appreciate all of you. So, you know what? One more drink. I'm going to say salute to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. You take care. Have a great one. Hope to see you, you know, tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow night. Sunday night on Geeky Geezers, throughout the week, and definitely next week back on my channel. You take care. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Good night, ladies. Good night, sir. Hit it, sweetheart.